I'm going live. It is the time of my life. I'm going live. I gotta go on TikTok now because I'm slow on TikTok. Yo. What's going on, people? Who's arrived yet? Anybody know? It's just me and my lonely self. Gonna tell people all kinds of stuff. Hello, Alyssa. How are you? So nice to see you. Yeah, you're the one that's early. I'm getting this TikTok live ready, so forgive me. It'll only be a minute. How are you? Oh my god, I just misspelled Baldoni. So bad. All right, we'll do that. I hope you're well. Angela's just arriving now. What's up, Delicate? How are you? Alyssa's with us. You can probably see that, though. I'm just setting up TikTok because I am a little late. Myself. Just barely. Oh, you guys, I had such a crazy Sunday. And it's not even football season. You know what I mean?
It wasn't so crazy until the very end.
It was so crazy.
Okay, so you're on YouTube and TikTok?
No, TikTok's about to go.
Okay, cool.
Go live, TikTok. Go live. All right, we're live on TikTok. Wow, we're counting down. Counting down to the big time. Guilty Angel has arrived, yes.
TikTok makes
Guilty
you
Angel
count
has
down?
arrived. What?
TikTok makes you count down?
Yes, TikTok makes you count down. They go 3, 2, 1, and then they wink at you and point a finger. They actually don't do that, winking and pointing at a finger. But I should probably, if they do, get credit for that. I think. So good to see everyone. Guilty Angel, Delicate, Alyssa, Erica. Hi, Erica. How are you? Oh, my horizon is horrendous. I think I might have a smudgy lens too. Smudgy lens alert on TikTok. Oh, that's the wrong button.
Do you want me to get you something to clean your lens?
No, I broke everything. The whole thing's busted. I don't know what I'm doing now.
Oh yeah, you're smudgy.
Am I smudgy?
Yeah.
So smudgy.
That's okay. It's got this
It's a smudgy aesthetic.
You look like you're in heaven. It's like that
I'm in heaven. I can't sing, can I? It breaks the law. All right. Now I've set that up so that that's more like it. All right. Oh, Dalki got the book. That's so great to hear. She's going to use it to she's going to read the book instead of doom scrolling. I say you can have both. Why not have both?
The chat wants to talk about Jeff Bezos' wedding.
Yeah, what about it? I heard a lot of people were there. I heard Leo was there.
Yes.
Heard he got himself a pretty girlfriend that's over 25.
Alyssa said, have you seen the pics of Leo's wearing that damn hat at Jeff Bezos' wedding?
What hat? I don't know. No, I didn't see no pictures.
Yeah, he was wearing a black hat that he pulled like so far over his face that there's no way he could see anything in front of him.
Like a cap?
Yes, like a baseball cap, but he pulled it down so far that it was like resting on his nose.
He had like an incognito cap all the way down?
All the way down, like farther down than any human being has pulled it down before.
Is he afraid of what people are going to ask him?
He was like when cowboys like fall asleep next to the campfire and they put their hat like right on their head.
And honk shoeing?
Yeah, that's him.
With one hand on their piece?
With a baseball hat.
Well, I didn't see those pictures. Or maybe I did see one. I think maybe you showed me one actually. Now that you're, but it's like Leo in a cap that's low over his brow, which is something
way low,
fairly
he don't
common.
Want to be seen by anybody, and I think it's probably because he claims to be an environmentalist.
Oh, look who's not there, Angela. Let me get us in there. I was still soloing the whole time. Let me get Angela. She's here with us. Too wide, too real. There she is. Hello, Angela.
Delicate says Scoots was at Bezos' wedding.
Ah, the Scoots. He had a front. Scoots is a very popular guy amongst men who have power and money. Yeah, Scoots, as I call him. It's my boy Scoots. You know, me and Scoots, we've had our differences, but, you know, in the end, he's not tall, and I don't mind. Doesn't intimidate me. Poor Scoots. People just misunderstand him, don't you think? He meant well, you know, the whole time. Don't they all?
Meanwhile?
Yeah.
Don't
they all mean well?
Do they? I
don't know.
Do you think they do? I think some people mean very, very badly.
I had a really crazy Sunday that I want to tell you about, but I'm kind of laying off it for a minute.
Guilty Angel says, hi Angela, and she spelled my name wrong, but I like it better. She said Amgela, and that is really like a better name.
Amgela.
I can't argue.
Amgala.
Amgala is a
Amgala.
Yeah.
Amgala.
Having nj in your name hasn't been pleasant.
I subscribe to our writing, and like this some people just like figure out systems for things to do, and like if you're somebody who writes like a books with lots of names, right, like a fantasy series writer.
Oh, those kinds of names.
Yeah. So this guy was like trying to figure out like naming conventions, and he was like worried that a particular name that he had come up with, or she for that matter, might come off as whatever. Like inappropriate in some way, you know. What do they call it? Appropriation, like racial appropriation. Is that what it is?
Cultural appropriation.
Cultural appropriation. Yeah, because it was like it had a whatever a specific flair for something. I don't know. What's up, everybody? Young is here on TikTok among others. Good to see you. Smile, I see. Is that right? That's pretty sweet. So, where was I? The cultural appropriation?
You always do this.
Well, I just wanted to say hello to Young. I haven't seen Young in a while.
I know, but you could finish your thought before you say hello to somebody and distract yourself.
But if I forget to say hello, then I might miss saying hello. And then what?
Then you would remember what you were saying.
The moment is gone.
Yeah. You were talking about people who are naming conventions in fantasy novels?
So this guy came up with this really cool like system for it. He just had three, like he was like, he was like, here's the actual name. Here's the name when you do this, and then here's the name when you do that. And in every instance, he brought three distinct phases of names that created three different variations of names.
If your character's Elven, they would spell their name like this. If your character's like a goblin troll or whatever, they would name it like this. Like
and then it would like be a convention of the same name, Elven, whatever.
You figured it out.
And I guess it's because like this guy, like at least the appearance was that they understood like the whole, like origin of names, you know, because like you know how like even like word origins and how they get to where we are now and whatever the native languages.
You could probably tell by the way I talk now, but I was a big word nerd. I was like looking at all of the origins and I did spelling bees. I
had a friend who could like he was like a spelling bee guy, and spelling bee guys they can just break shit down by like they recognize origin within spelling more often than not. At least that's what he did, or pronunciation or whatever. It was wild because he'd be like, oh no, that's clearly, and he would like know not only origin but like era.
Do you want to hear like the late stage capitalism horror about spelling bees today? Sure you do. You're not with me anymore.
Well,
you went someplace else.
Well, Erica just.
I admit it was a really stupid thing to suggest.
Erica just brought up the Cronenberg. Is that his name? Kohberger,
yeah.
The Kohberger plea. Mm-hmm. He's getting 4 life sentences.
Okay, we'll talk about that instead of spelling bees, I guess.
Well, yeah, we probably are going on too long about spelling bees. People log it, you know, like there were some, you know, because we had like a few crowds here because, you know, whatever, some I tickled the
I'm not letting this go. This has to be said. Okay.
Baldoni nest.
It's really fucked up. So the latest spelling bee was in part sponsored by a pharmaceutical company, and they gave the kids a pharmaceutical brand name to spell.
That's so fucked
Isn't
up.
That fucked up?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about it.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, what stage of capitalism?
My doctor smokes camels.
What stage of capitalism is this?
It's that stage. The stage where doctors are like endorsing camels.
Yeah.
Because they did at one time, you know.
And
and they would again if they could.
The winner of the spelling bee, you know, it wasn't the final word or anything, but the winner of the spelling bee got it. Messed up, man. All the spelling bee nerds were up in arms about it.
Did you say hi, Guilty Angel?
Erica says, actually, I'm interested in spelling bees. Dale?
Me too, Erica. And Angela. I like spelling bees. I feel like it's not like a smudge on my phone. It's like a filter. It's like a filter effect.
Yeah,
Maybe I accidentally applied a filter effect.
It makes it seem like you're in a
Paul Thomas Anderson movie?
beautiful cottage garden at sunrise, you know?
John Cassavetes.
Did John Cassavetes have that? You know, it kind of looks like a soap opera. You know how like soap operas always look like you're kind of, the room is steamy?
We just got a follow. Thank you. I can't see your name, but thank you. Oh, just followed.
Guilty Angel loves spelling bees.
S.
See, I know our audience.
Everybody loves...
I know our audience.
Well, take us to the moon, baby. Take us to the moon.
I won a spelling bee once, and I spelled the word chrysanthemum, and I still feel like
chrysanthemum.
Yeah, I still feel like hot shit for it.
Yeah, I can barely say it. Chrysanthemum. Sometimes when I do say it, there's a certain amount of pride that like surges through me.
But you can tell it was like really low level spelling bee because the words that these kids have to spell now are like, you know, when they go to like the nationals, it's insane. Like,
I know.
I can't spell any of them.
No, it's an inhuman thing. It's like savant level.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Brian Kohberger.
Yeah.
Plea.
Yeah.
So
he sure did.
The prosecutors just decided to take the death penalty off the table.
All the crime people out there who cover crime and crime and crime. Everybody's like, all the YouTube channels, all the fucking lawyers are all just like, wow, my bag is emptying.
Yeah, because Baldoni's case got thrown out, and then this won't be a trial. But you know, I learned a detail that is actually horrible. So I don't know if
on this case
on the Kohberger plea deal.
Okay.
I don't know if all of the families were unanimous in wanting the death penalty, but the Gonsalves family did, and they were not told in advance of this news breaking that he had taken a plea deal. They apparently weren't told that the prosecutor was going to offer a plea deal. And I just feel like that is we have a punitive justice system, not a restorative justice system.
Yes.
And I feel like in a better restorative justice system, you would absolutely involve the family, the victim's family, in determining what sort of punishment should be available.
It's an interesting thing because in this situation you have multiple victims, one perp, and then you're like, okay, so who, like, how does that go down? Like if one person of say 4 victims, say there's one, so one says, I want this man off the planet. Everybody else is like, nah, you know, I'm cool. So is it a majority rule or
that is a different discussion. What the reason why they say they're absolutely furious in their press release is that they weren't even notified.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. So like, it's fine if they didn't get to choose, right? Because the district attorney has to conduct their business the way they feel is best. Like a lot of times they'll take the death penalty off the table because it raises the stakes in something to do with the burden of proof. I don't know, whatever. It's just harder for them to get a conviction. And so a lot of times they'll look for a lower sentence to make sure that they don't lose the trial.
Erica's saying that most of the time they aren't consulted about plea deals.
I know. I mean, I didn't know that, but I'm assuming because Dale and I were working on writing political ads for this for a district attorney candidate in our town, and I learned a lot through that process about the difference between the justice system we have and the justice system we should have, and the difference between, you know, punitive justice and restorative justice. And that was one of the big things that stuck with me. I was like, so why the fuck isn't the victim's family central in these decisions? Like, that makes no sense. I don't think that anybody, if asked, would disagree that the victim's family should be a major deciding figure in this.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it surprises me that that's not the case to this minute.
Anyhow, they're pissed about it.
Yeah, I would be too. I understand that. I mean, it's just a terrible tragedy. On the other hand, they're not going to have to live through a trial.
Yes.
And living through a trial it's got to be its own form of trauma in this situation. Like when you're sitting there and you're looking in the eyes of a killer every day as they meticulously reconstruct the entire event that took your loved one away, and you have to sit there and like wrestle sanity while your emotions are completely wasted.
I couldn't believe that Karen Reed trial that John O'Keefe's family was in the courtroom every day. That's so awful.
Exhausting. It's got to be the most.
Exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the Goldbergs for the OJ trial, and just missed, and like I remember him through the civil litigation. I'm talking Mr. Goldberg, Fred, and he looked haggard as fuck by the time it was done. Like the man was haggard. It was
like it aged him
for sure. Terribly. You know, we know this. We know stress is one of the major contributors to all kinds of illnesses, from gut health to mental health. So it's a big deal, man. So on the one hand, I get it, but on the other hand, no trial, perpetrator behind bars. You know, I don't know what the closure would have been for them to go through a process that led him to his being sentenced to expire by the hand of man, but I feel like I hope they can get the closure, particularly the one who held out or who felt like they were betrayed in some way by the DA.
I also don't think that the death penalty should ever be a thing. So it's like, you know, I feel like they should have started with this in the first place.
Yeah.
I wrote this like a month ago. I was just talking to somebody about it. I said the state should never be given the right to take someone's life, because it's too easy to make a mistake, or for the state to cover up exculpatory evidence to avoid awarding damages to the wrongfully accused. The state has too much power over prisoners, and they cannot be meaningfully held accountable.
Is this something you wrote?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as the death penalty is invoked in a case, the expense to the taxpayer skyrockets. The legal fight becomes longer and more vigorous, and the state has to pay for each step. So the death penalty doesn't even make fiscal sense either. Siskel and Ebert. The death penalty.
Two thumbs down.
To the death penalty. So the death penalty doesn't make fiscal sense either, when life in prison can be much less of a burdensome option.
Well, it's good. It's a good argument. It's hard to argue that. Again, it's hard to argue against that. There's it's a weird thing, because there's also, I don't know, man. It's such a touchy topic in every possible way. But yes, part of the reason why when people are sentenced to die, they are not, these sentences aren't carried out the following week. You know, it takes decades to actually get them to that moment. Yeah,
that's why it's so expensive.
Right. But one of the reasons why is because of the uncertainty in the process itself. Like there's so little faith in the whole process that they'll go ahead and condemn somebody or sentence somebody to this fate, and then they won't even carry the fate out for what would be considered most of a lifetime to many.
I know. So how awful for a victim's family who is really hoping that this person ceases to be around on the earth, and then they have to, grow old, pass away,
waiting,
like never have that closure.
Right. And
anyway.
then the people protesting outside, the protesters against, or, whatever it is, the governor looking into this and to that and whatever.
It's so expensive.
Very difficult.
But also, if you follow like the Innocence Project and their successes, where they get people off of death row, like it usually involves some sort of evidence that the state withheld. Like exculpatory, like even DNA evidence, or like a witness who was like absolutely not, and they just withheld it. The guys that were in the West Memphis 3, they are solely the only people involved in that entire trial.
Yeah.
Who are trying to get the DNA tested to determine who actually was the killer of the 3 boys that they got wrongfully accused of murdering.
Yeah.
And like this, so the state isn't even interested. The local police department detectives aren't interested.
It's like the DA right now doesn't, or the Commonwealth does not give a shit about who killed John O'Keefe. When the evidence in 2 jury trials clearly points in a completely different direction, they refuse to turn their heads.
So
Erica
says,
says,
think the burden should be on the. I mean, I don't think that the state should have the ability to put people to death.
Erica says that the El Paso Pew when he took a plea, most families were actually asking to take the expiration penalty.
Oh, should I not say? I've been speaking really freely.
Off, so they don't Pardon me, so they don't have to deal with another decade of trials and appeals.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's
It's
great.
the appeals. It's the constant appeals because, by the way, they get dragged into it because they make statements. They end up writing to the judge every time or to whatever, board might be handling the situation. And, I mean, come on, man. That is so wild. That's just so wild.
Housing, feeding, and medically caring for prisoners isn't more expensive. It turns out it isn't. It's like somebody, one of these Innocence Projects or, the abolition organizations they did all the math.
Yeah.
And just because of the legal fight to get people off of death row and try to get life in prison instead becomes so much more intense, and the taxpayer has to pay for all of those steps. There's something different about death row too. I'm not sure. I don't understand how the prison system works exactly on the inside, but I think that there's something about the death penalty that's more expensive. I don't know. I should learn more.
Well,
about
I mean,
I just know that somebody who knows and studies it told me.
Yeah.
They're credible.
It's okay if it's something.
It's more expensive.
It's okay if something.
Okay.
It's also okay if it's just something you heard because you don't have to, pass it off as gospel.
I'm curious now, though.
But because I also heard that. It's actually more expensive, and part of the reason might be is that death row. Right, that's an entirely different ward of a prison that has its own guards, has its own rules.
And those people live there.
They get
for
a different diet.
They're 40 years there too.
Yeah,
they're forever. That's a life sentence, pretty much.
Yeah, they actually live fairly peacefully up there, or I say up there, but wherever it may be.
I have heard stories about inmates who try to get onto death row
so they can just be chill, because it's like chill, and the food might even be better.
Like how bad it must be.
By the way, just back on the Jeff Bezos wedding, I'm just seeing this headline now of Rosie O'Donnell calling out Oprah for attending Bezos' wedding.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of blowback. That's why I think it's really funny that DiCaprio tried to cover his face with a fucking baseball hat. All your stories of where you're talking about him like maybe not being so bright. Like I saw that picture and I was like, yeah, there it is, because it's so clearly him. Like all you're seeing is like his jawline and his mouth, and you're like, yeah.
I'm not sure who he's. I guess he's just avoiding himself at that point. I think he's just avoiding himself. He's like, if I don't see me looking at people, then there are no people.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just interesting because, like, if he's wearing a baseball cap so low so that the paparazzi that's taking all these photos won't make any money on selling them.
Yeah.
It's still so recognizably him.
Yeah.
And now it's even more like a more interesting shot because he's trying to conceal himself.
It's like, dude, we're getting a good shot of you. You're completely fucking. Why don't you just wear something really bright already?
Yeah, or like one of those like latex fake masks,
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Walk around like Liam Neeson or something.
Yeah.
No, he'd actually make himself a regular person, obviously. A gamer.
A gamer. What? He could make himself a gamer?
Yeah. Just a regular, everyday gamer. A YouTuber.
I think that guy who did get caught and arrested for those political assassinations just recently.
Yeah.
He was wearing, it looked like a Heisenberg mask from Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck?
It looked like he went to a costume store.
So crazy.
I know, so creepy. Did you see the pictures from the Ring cameras?
Yes. They're
Somebody
frightening.
was like, if there ever was a reason to like unload the clip through the door.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a straight up like, don't even ask. That's not even an ask situation. That's just straight up like Second Amendment all over this thing. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Erica said, actually, the average DP inmate, is that death row?
Yeah.
What is that called?
Death penalty.
Oh, got it. Costs 2 times more than an inmate serving life.
Yeah. So we did hear it correctly. You see this? We don't have to doubt ourselves. You know why?
I didn't doubt it. I knew I'd heard it from somebody who was credible. I just didn't know why. I couldn't explain it, and now I want to. Learn.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Curiosity,
Rainbow Pickle says, yes, hi, I'm here.
What's up, Rainbow Picks?
That's such a great way to...
Yes, hi. I'm here. What's going on?
You were calling me?
Well, I'm glad you're here. It's so good to see you. We're having a lovely little evening so far. And we're going to get onto the Baldoni stuff momentarily. But first, we're talking about Bezos' wedding because there's all kinds of fallout. Rosie O'Donnell, who everybody listens to, She slams Jeff Bezos and calls Lauren Sanchez a fake fembot wife.
Well, listen, I mean, it's bold of her to make fun of people's appearances because she has been ridiculed for so long about hers. It's like, can we just not do that?
Yeah, but this is not making fun of somebody's appearance in this way.
Yeah, she called
No, so if the fembot wife is, I think she's talking about the fake fembot wife is the whole like,
yeah, she's not
what she's putting on. Well, it's what she's putting on in her appearance. It's like you're like making fun of somebody's haircut. It's more like the haircut than it is the body shaming.
Okay, Dale.
You don't think so? You think that's like a? You think the fake fembot wife is a type?
Yes, I think
it's like a body type.
I think she's talking about her appearance. Yeah.
Yeah, but the manufacturer of her appearance, not the appearance in her core. She's not saying you got a big nose or you're big hip. She's like talking about.
She's talking about how she's manufactured. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's on the table. When we were talking about this last time, you guys, all you told me that was on the table because I made fun
of plastic surgery.
I made a fun of something like maybe it was plastic surgery or something. You're like nice.
No, you were talking about a haircut. That's what you were talking.
Whatever it was, but it was
it's
all the same. Okay, fine, it's all the same thing. If you get in a plastic surgery or whatever, in the book we talk about David Stopman's liposuction, for example. Mm-hmm. No one's happy. Nobody was happy with that.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to do when everybody around you that you're working with is struggling to raise money. to be like, hey guys, I'm going to take a few days off. I just got this really expensive, completely elective medical procedure.
I'll be right back. And when I come back, you'll be like, oh, who are you? Who the hell are you?
You look so different and so good and also more broke because you spent all that money.
William Shatner's making some news. He's, by the way, 94 years old, which I just, for whatever reason, never thought about him as old, period, really.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, every time I see him and he's old, which has been for a long time now, like he's just constantly been old. He's always been old.
He's never looked like he was in his 90s.
Ever.
Even now. The celebrity that really blew my hair back when I found out how old they were is Danny Trejo. He's 81.
Yeah, right. He looks like he's 45 to 51.
Yeah. So I looked I guess 10 years ago, I was 70? Anyway, now he kind of looks his age, but he didn't then.
It catches up to you suddenly. Like one day you're going to wake up and go, oh my God, Dale. And I'm going to be like, what? And you're going to be like last night I went to bed, I looked like this. And then I woke up and, and now I look like, whatever, Kevin Costner, if I'm lucky.
I saw these headlines. I guess there was a recent study where they figured out that there's 3 periods of her life where you do the most aging.
Yeah.
And one of them was the year was 60.
60?
Yeah, and then.
Oh my God! 5 years from now, you're gonna not like me. I have to do something.
I'm gonna not.
Oh my God! I'm gonna have to get plastic surgery or something, or hair plugs, or I'll just have to wear beanies in the house all the time.
On the morning of your 60th birthday, you're gonna come out of the bathroom with all your beard and hair dyed,
looking like Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yes.
With some long roby coat on, like Angela, hello. Can I make you some eggs?
Not a day over 60, am I right?
I love it. Please. Now, that's on my to-do list now.
Oh, Cosmic Urgency. That's so funny. I didn't know that Lauren Sanchez was on Good Day LA. Grew up watching Lauren Sanchez on Good Day LA and shit. So weird seeing her now on the world stage as Bezos' trophy wife.
Well, I didn't know who she was, but that must be what I recognize her from then. Because I recognized her.
Oh, really?
Well, I was in LA 30 years ago. Wouldn't that be then?
Yeah, if you were watching Good Day LA.
Well, I caught glimpses of it. It's not something I watched.
It's an early show. I never watched any of those because I was sleeping.
Hungover?
I don't wake up in the morning, bro. Never in my
I was
life.
like this. Oh, what is on, bro? Good day what? Oh, gosh.
It's not a good day. It'll be a good day later, maybe. 7
more beers till I'm through. What's up, TikTok? It's only just you and me and some people over there on YouTube if you want to come hang out with us. We're about to get cooking. You always got to give it a little minute. Get these little shake the rust off the weekend. How was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend?
Me?
Not counting yesterday.
Oh yeah, well I did. Yeah, I was doing some reading. I got into a very long argument online, which is a very foolish thing to do. But yeah, I didn't really do much. I don't like to talk about how free my time is. Because people like Rainbow Pickle in the comments is like, I missed you guys the last few times and didn't answer. Like I said, first summer day off for my kids. Being a parent never rests.
Yeah.
And it's like, I completely just admire
I don't know how you guys
grind like that.
Yeah. Sorry, I stepped on you there.
No, you didn't. We're in agreement.
I just don't know how you do it. I'm amazed by it. I work my ass off all day. And like, I look down at a dog, and I'm like, God, you are such a burden.
No, you don't.
You are such a burden.
You don't.
I do. I think we gotta go here. We gotta go there. We gotta walk the dog. Wait, before we start the lives, we gotta walk the dogs. I mean, typically it's you, of course, but it's still like, yeah. What I don't understand is the concept and complexity of a life that includes parenting, because it's not just like getting the lunches ready, or if they're, before that, from diapers up. It's also like being a parent. It's also like, I gotta guide this being into some semblance of goodness, and there's no manual for that. Like, and you're like, unless you were lucky to be brought up by parents who were exceptional at it, you're like, fuck, how do I avoid the shit they did? It's just a wild, crazy, absolutely amazing thing you guys do, and I don't know how you do it.
Anytime somebody complains about how difficult it is to be a parent, I always feel like they're kind of like underestimating it. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like it really sucks, and I bet it sucks even worse than you're admitting. Not that they're like lying about it, but I just feel like there's so much that you guys have to do as parents that are like, you have to just like get through the day, like, grin and bear it. Like, I just feel like anytime you ever hear how bad it is, I'm like, I bet it's even worse than that.
Yeah. Guys, I know we haven't gotten cooking yet, but if you could still like and subscribe and all that other stuff, we'd appreciate helping us grow this little thing into whatever it becomes. We know you're doing that anyway, but we're asking for a little more, because we're greedy.
Alyssa says, David Stutman is a very questionable character, but do you guys think he led to the fall of Don's Plum? And if he wasn't involved with the projects, do you think something would have been different?
I think David was a benign tumor.
That's a good way to answer that question. Yeah.
David Stutman. Yeah, he wasn't something that he wasn't anything that I found particularly. I mean, he was, he was a bit of an obstruction on the one hand, but then on the other hand, he was also handy at times. I don't know. He wasn't a big deal. He wasn't like great, but he wasn't like a big deal. And no, he didn't lead to the fall of Don's Plum. He was, in some respects, like, he was certainly a contributor to it, when, with the liposuction, and, that was like a big deal. Like, the reason it's in the book is because, the guys, it was all over the depositions, for example.
Yeah, like they thought that he was acting shady and underhanded, and they were really vague about it, but every time somebody tried to nail him down on what they meant, they were like, well, like, Stutman and his liposuction. Yeah,
they felt that was, like a big, huge red light. So to the extent that he did things like that.
A red flag.
What did I say?
Red light. Which sounds
You don't have to. Red flag.
My perspective on David Stutman, which is worthless. Okay.
She definitely wasn't there, so her perspective is definitely this, one she's gleaned from me and a whole bunch of other material.
I am very glad that David Stutman was involved at the litigation stage of your conflict with your friends, because I feel like it could have easily have been a producer that you guys had in charge of your production that would have just like laid down and let these movie stars do what they wanted.
Right.
I feel like it was really, really great that you had somebody like David Stutman who was willing to take them to court and make them, face the music for blocking your film without any reason to, like they needed to explain why they were doing that and stop doing it.
Absolutely.
But then, like, I think after, it's still kind of a mystery about what happened after you guys settled, when there was supposed to be an escrow account that was going to pay you from all of the sales around the world and everything else that happened after for the last 30 years since. Mm-hmm. And that escrow account got closed, right? Mm-hmm. Do you believe that David Stutman had something to do with that?
He was the only one who could have something to do with it.
He's the only one who could have had something to do with that.
Yes.
So yeah, so in that way, that he's obviously a villain in this story.
But that doesn't lead to the fall of Don's Plum, which was the question.
No.
So, again, there's a whole bunch of reasons why he was a problem for me, right? I mean, Stefan's not with us tonight because he's traveling. But he sent me a text because we're getting chummy. I'm not going to lie. He sent me a text.
Why would you lie? Are we not supposed to know? And you just dished?
And in his text, I meant to show you guys it because it's so cool, but it's a picture. He has a DVD of Don's Plum, and then he has my book. And he put them side by side and snapped a photo of it,
cool.
which is a uniquely European experience when it comes to Don's Plum in my work. Period. I can't even do that. You know what I mean? I cannot do what he did, which is have a DVD, with the artwork and the fucking and the actual book. I can't do that. So I don't know why I went down that road, but
I think that's sweet.
He said, "What, the picture?"
Yes.
Oh man, the picture is a dream.
Send it to you,
The picture is a dream, but the point that I'm making is that he also said, I have yet to respond to it, I think, actually, now that I sit here, but he also said something about that they're in bins. They're in like bargain bins all over the UK, I suppose.
Okay, yeah, so you're getting stolen from.
Yeah, I'm getting every day.
So like anytime that somebody's buying one of those DVDs, you're supposed to be paid for that.
Every day, yeah. Every day that somebody's... And this is happening in countries all over the world.
You're saying that David Stutman has... That there's no way that he couldn't have something to do with it because he was in
that money is flowing somewhere. It has to go to somewhere for a distributor to be able to, with a free chain of title, distribute it in these countries.
You need a fucking lawyer.
Or it's just looting, and it's looting because nobody has control.
That's terrible.
By the way, Jerry Matters checked the copyright on Don's Plum, and Todd Beckman doesn't have any copyright on Don's Plum.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Todd Beckman he's an obsolete human being to the story.
So who does?
David Stutman
and
great. John Schindler.
So
I wrote the fucking thing. What's going on here?
We have to talk to them.
I stopped myself.
You have to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
Are you with me?
With you.
Are those books current books?
Yes.
Okay. Would you select one of those books, or I don't know if you have one on your desk?
I do.
Okay, cool. Guilty Angel said that she is on page 252, and I'm curious what that is.
252.
252.
Of the novel of the debut memoir written by Dale Wheatley. That's what we're asking about. 252, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember that day. I was just sitting here, tapping away, thinking, I wonder if anyone's going to read this, And there we are. Talking about it right now. 252. All right, let's see. Oh. This is what you're going to read next. A stunt coordinator worked with Toby, Kevin, and Leo on their patio fight scene. It was a short, relatively safe skirmish, but he still went into detail, choreographing every move from the sweeping roundhouse kick by Kevin to Leo getting in the middle of it all to break them up. What a sentence! What a sentence, people!
Give this man a Pulitzer.
Hey, I mean, you just got to at least consider it. That's so fun. You're having a great time. That was, this is some of the best good times in the book right there. In my opinion. I mean, it was swinging around in a movie.
Some of the best good times.
It was some of the best good times.
Some of the worst good times.
Some of the worst good times.
Alyssa said on Amazon, a Don's Plum imported DVD is $53.
$0 comes to me.
Aren't there zone restrictions or something like?
Yeah, like regional.
Yeah,
yes.
Thanks.
Region 4, Region 2.
I'm talking about most of the time.
Hey man, I'm just being here, bro.
Listen, if this was a spelling bee, I would slay.
We're all just breathing in and out, and I just want to be cool about it.
Yeah, so like you had to get a Mexican DVD because that was the only distributor who was going to be able to play in your U.S. region, right?
I did get I got a Region 4 Mexican DVD.
So.
And it's not even an HD.
So Alyssa.
Yeah.
If you want to buy an imported DVD, I think you have to just make sure that your region is comparable, compliant, whatever.
Yeah, well, or that your player is, yeah.
Alyssa said, so Todd Beckman lied in the documentary?
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he didn't file a copyright.
Oh, interesting. He was like,
Who knows?
I won. Anyway. Didn't.
He might have not acted on it, which is interesting because that might leave it in a certain state of limbo. I just need a lawyer, dude.
I know.
Oh my God. I just need a lawyer and I need an editor, like a video editor.
You need a lawyer.
And a lawyer. If I have those two things, we'll make such great content and we'll accomplish such great things. And we won't just make YouTube content, we'll also make a film. Oh my God. If I make you guys another film, and I'm telling you, bro, that's who I'm making it for. Rainbow Pickle, which is really cool because it makes me want one.
A rainbow pickle?
Yeah, I want a rainbow pickle. Says, I do anime fan art or try to write my own fan-made stories to current anime, and I always put in my own private face group book and add my signature watermark. I do what I got to figure my way to prove stuff is mine. Oh yeah, well, and you're doing fan stuff, so that's like really, yeah, that's really important and smart that you do it. That the watermarking is super important for sure. You got to protect your work.
I like how you did a word scramble there.
Which?
You said you read Facebook group, but you said face group book.
Did I?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God, I'm shorting out. I'm shorting out right here live on fucking Facebook and TikTok. Oh wait, YouTube. See what I'm saying, bro?
What?
I'm going down.
Alyssa said, when and if you get the rights back to the DVD, announce it and put it on your website so that I can get one.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're gonna cut it again if I can get the negative. See, my dream is that we track down the negative and yeah, we go find it.
Would you like to hear some questions from the chat on TikTok?
Yep.
Young is asking, what do you think about John Schindler not liking Don's Plum? I know, right?
I mean, let me tell you what. When we were making the movie and when we finished the movie, he loved it. He was all over it. He was so fucking proud of it. He was beaming. He is 100% lying about that, in either to whomever he told that story to, or to me. Yeah. But he's lying. He lied to somebody.
I think people are really easy.
And I don't care.
It's really easy to manipulate your feelings about something in retrospect, I think.
Well, of course, and I don't really care. Like, okay, you don't like it. Who cares? What does that got to fucking do with anything? Do you know what I mean? Like, congratulations. You know.
You're like, I don't like you.
Do you know? That's not even true. I do like John. I mean, John is out there, bro.
But like, just to make a point.
Yeah, like, John's just out there. Like, he definitely is on a different plane, and he's always been on a different plane. And I mean that. The guy's like, he's transcendentally gifted. I don't know how to put it, but let me tell you, like we have. You know what we have? Like, if this ever turned into a match between me and John Schindler, I'll KO him so fast with his own damn words. We have a treatment that he wrote after we had finished the first 72 minutes of the film. And he was trying to compete with me as the writer of the movie. I don't even know where the fuck he got off on that, because he was literally a hired line producer.
Yeah, and he was never in the room for your writing meetings.
But he was challenged, never. And he was well, no, that's not true. He filmed he recorded the rehearsals, and so he participated.
No, but like being involved so that you can record something is not the same as participating.
He was not a writer. Yeah. No, not even remotely close to being a writer. He's not a good writer, period. In my experience with him, maybe he's improved over the years now, but when I knew him, he was practically unreadable. He hired me to write a screenplay for him. I wrote a first draft of this really crazy Jim Carrey kind of idea about a guy who, super rich billionaire, like kidnaps all these billionaires and takes them to the moon in a plane that no one knew could go to the moon.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it was. It was a good first draft too.
I wonder if the person who came up with that idea,
John Schindler.
Oh, I wonder if when the Ocean Gate disaster happened, and the Titan exploded, he was like,
I had that, but on the moon. Yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed slamming that draft out for him. I think I wrote that thing in like, he paid me such a small amount of money. I think I cranked that out in about a month. I was like, hey, Bob, there you go, buddy. Enjoy that. That's what you get. That's what you paid for.
On TikTok, Hannon is asking, what's your favorite movie?
Today, my favorite movie, which changes on a daily basis, So come back tomorrow and ask then. And you'll always get a different movie.
It's like a soup of the day.
You won't always get a different movie. You may often get a different movie. So today, my favorite movie is Jacob's Ladder.
That's a good one. Jacob's Ladder's in my top 5.
Jacob's Ladder is my favorite
day.
movie today. It stars Tim Robbins, among others. Tim Robbins turns a staggering performance. It's directed by the great director Adrian Lyne, who directed the movie for Pink Floyd, The Wall, for example. No, that's not him.
Basic Instinct?
Yeah, that's him. I just got directors confused.
No.
Listen
Basic
to
Instinct. The other one about the murdering lover.
Well, I can look up his filmography. I've seen a great deal of his movies. All the wires are crossed. All the damn wires are crossed.
I gotta look this up because I'm forgetting the name of this movie, and I
absolutely love Jacob's Ladder. It's a brilliant performance. I swear. There's a moment in this movie, and you'll know if you go and you watch it. But there's a moment in this movie where Tim Robbins is walking past a bunch of women who are in this like alley or under this trestle.
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction. Thank you. Under this trestle or subway bridge or something. Anyway, so Tim Robbins is walking under it, and he's in his work uniform. He's a postman in this part of the movie. So he's in his postal uniform.
He's a postman.
He's a postman. And these women, they start singing, "Wait a minute, Mr. Postman." And it is such a perfect moment. Like, it is like a perfect cinematic moment. It is everything I live for in cinema. Like, I just love it so much.
The reason why it's so skilled is it really sets you up to feel nice and cozy and happy, but right before he just obliterates.
It's such a perfect setup. It is. It's a perfect
he
setup.
just like lures you in just like a...
Well, watch your spoilers.
Okay, so Adrian Lyne also directed Lolita, Deepwater, Fatal Attraction. Oh, Deepwater's recent. Flashdance.
Mm-hmm.
Indecent Proposal.
Yeah, I've seen all of these except their most recent one. Of course, I saw that. And then Mickey Rourke when he was hot. What?
Unfaithful.
And Kim Basinger.
It's on a theme. He likes this theme.
He likes this theme.
But he doesn't write these movies. He just directs them. They just keep hiring him for the same thing.
They're like, Adrian, we got another one. This time, she gets 2 lovers.
He wrote the adaptation for a book I really, really liked called Back Roads by, I forget her name, Tawny O'Dell. It was a good book. Putting it down as a recommendation. Okay.
I said my favorite movie, and you guys should say yours. Cosmic Urgency is already playing in. He's got his cards down. He said my favorite movie is probably Heat, and his local art house is showing it this month, so he's going to go and see it loud and on the big screen. Yes. What a treat to see Heat after the fairly recent passing of the great Val Kilmer. There's
he's incredible in that movie.
So in my book, Jerry and I go and eat at Kate Manalini's. And Kate Manalini is the same restaurant that they filmed the scene between De Niro and Pacino in the restaurant. That's Kate Manalini. In fact, Jerry and I most certainly sat in that seat at least once.
Young's favorite movie.
Yes.
On TikTok is Back to the Future.
Oh, that's a great one. You know what? I could easily go that. I could go there. I could go to E.T. I could go easily on those. So sorry about that.
Delicates is Drop Dead Gorgeous.
That's a Drop Dead Gorgeous. Is that the one I was supposed to work on? Yeah. So you know what's so funny about that, Delicate, is so we got offered that movie right after Don's Plum before Leo busted it up with Kirstie Alley. We got offered that because they saw Don's Plum and they wanted Drop Dead Gorgeous to have this like voyeuristic feel to it.
A documentary feel.
Yeah, a mockumentary, voyeur feel. So we were considering doing it, but RD didn't want to do it because there was no money, and I didn't want to do it because I didn't fucking write it.
Yeah. I
was like, man, I don't fucking do their shit. I want to do my shit.
Guilty Angel loves Michael Haneke's work.
Which one?
Guilty Angel's pick is Funny Games, and I'm wondering whether you mean his original or his remake. It was such a boss move that he remade his own movie.
They're both brilliant. They're both brilliant. You can pick them. You can pick them both.
I'm curious which one you liked better if you've seen them both.
The Iron Giant's a great pick.
And also Seventh Continent. I don't know that one. Erica said The Princess Bride, it never gets old.
Ah,
That one's so perfect.
it's just a perfect movie.
Oh, Delicate said, it's like Best in Show or Waiting for Guffman. Oh yeah, Drop Dead Gorgeous. Yeah, yeah. Those movies are super fun.
Exactly. I love all those. In fact, when I did the short film with Marissa Ryan, yeah, she was all inspired by Waiting for Guffman. Her whole inspiration was Waiting for Guffman and Christopher Guest. Mm-hmm. She loved him.
Yeah, they're so great.
Brilliant. He was
cool. So, Guilty Angel said that the better Funny Games is the 1997 version. That's the original.
That's the original.
Mm-hmm.
OG. Check out Piano Teacher. Check out Amor. Those are two more Hanekes
They're
that
not date movies.
Definitely not date
me.
You might not even want to have a snack.
If your grandmother gets upset easily, then do not invite her.
Yeah, not a family movie either. Definitely not. Hey, Mom, let's watch The Piano Teacher. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. Don't watch that one with any
God.
company, actually.
It's truly.
You don't want to have to explain why you put that on, why you put that movie on to people.
TV show for Rainbow Pickle is Supernatural. What do you think a rainbow pickle would taste like? Is it sweet? Is it tart? It's got to be tart because it's a pickle.
I think that your assumption is that it's involving a cucumber, and I think a rainbow pickle is probably a Swiss chard.
It's still pickled though.
Yes.
Okay, but that's where I'm at.
Swiss chard with all the rainbow colors.
Guilty Angel loves Amor and Piano Teacher. They're both crazy movies. Well, Amor was something, wasn't it?
Dale, we haven't seen Seventh Continent by Michael Haneke, have we?
No, I don't think we have. I have not.
It's going on the list. Sorry if I shouted that.
Why do you gotta yell?
Blowing people's ears. Okay. Did you have anything that you were bringing to our conversation this evening?
Yes. Well, I wanted to talk about my call yesterday.
Okay.
I oddly enough, I'm a little I don't know how to put it. I guess there's a certain amount of apprehension to it.
Yeah, when people endure bizarre experiences.
Yeah.
An experience you didn't expect to be foisted upon you.
Right.
I feel like it's a pretty natural reaction to just be like, I kind of don't know how to talk about it.
Well, most people who are here know that I beefed with Andy Signor on this live. And over the weekend, and my beef with Andy Signor is not just Andy Signor, but it just so happens that I had associated my name with him, and I couldn't disagree more with the way he's behaving. I find it despicable.
Specifically about Blake Lively's, but the coverage of the Blake Lively Justin Baldoni.
Yes, the intentional wrecking of a person's reputation in life.
Yeah. For
no reason. They got no stake in it. There's no reason for Andy Signor, who has called himself press. There's no reason for a member of the press, to go after a celebrity in the way that Andy has.
But to be specific, because maybe it's not clear if you guys don't know who this is.
Andy Signor.
He runs the channel Popcorn Planet, and he's constantly producing content about how Blake Lively is is like a liar or a mean girl or like different variations of the Justin Baldoni smear campaign.
Right. And here's the thing, look, Andy was good to me, right? He brought me on his show, and he kind of like returned a favor. He called me up after he got booted from his company because of these allegations. And I didn't know the extent of these allegations really until recently. Like, I didn't know that they involved things like lewd videos, for example. That was like brand new information to me. I thought it was actually something else entirely. The way it was represented to me was that he had just had this affair, and that the person came out and accused him of things that weren't true because he was in a consensual affair, or he was having a consensual affair. And a couple of those things aren't, and that was my impression. I'm not sure specifically, if I could hold myself to him saying those exact things, because it's possible, I suppose, that he may have told me that he kept it from her, but I can't imagine
I feel like all of this is irrelevant to the story.
Okay. You do?
Yeah, because you're talking about before you started talking with him on his channel in interviews. And so I just feel like everything that happened after is more interesting.
I interviewed with the guy. I did him a favor. He did Cactus. What it was, Hugging the Cactus. And this was after he got. Well, the reason I was setting it up is that he got blacklisted. He got kicked out of his business. His wife left him because he had this inappropriate relationship that the other participant, the woman in the relationship, alleged that she was SA'd by him, right? And one of the things, if it's the only thing I don't know, but at least one of the things was that he had sent unwanted, unsolicited video to her. Okay, so this is it's important because anyway, so. I'm confused now. I don't know because you're kind of giving me Angela's giving me these cues that I'm screwing up my story here.
I thought you were going to move on from his personal issues to talking about like the current. Is this what happened? Was that the call that you guys? So you got.
So anyway, I did these videos,
and it didn't have anything to do with that.
I did these videos, right? I put these videos out, and I was a little harsh. Like in Andy's defense, I was a little harsh. Like I didn't realize. First of all, I think I have a little PTSD when it comes to people who I think are maliciously and willfully trying to destroy somebody's life and reputation for no reason. I don't think it's a good idea at any time. But sometimes there's revenge, and you can be like, okay, simmer down now, and you can like empathize with the fact that they would be motivated to avenge something or whatever, right? But when it's absolutely like just pure malice, or if it's for the purposes of exploitation, like for money or clicks or whatever, for me that gets pretty messed up, right? In terms of like motives or whatever. So I called him out for it, and I was a little harsh, I suppose. I don't know. I got angry. And in fact, somebody showed up in the comments and they were like, "Well, you're really angry, dude. You're far more angry than Andy ever was." And I'm like, first of all, it's 80% passion and 20% anger, to be true.
I also, it's just so tedious to like tone police people. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, whatever. Like, so I'm a ranter,
what the guy's saying? Like, is he providing any information that's useful? Like, what the fuck do you care if he's like shouty about it?
I'm a ranter. Who cares? Whatever. So anyway, Andy, I didn't expect Andy to even find out about it because my videos get a few hundred views. Like there's, we have 420 people on this channel, and like my content gets like very small action. Like it's just teeny.
Yeah, Guilty Angel says you were not harsh with Signor.
So, and Andy, so I'm sitting yesterday on my couch, and I get a text from Andy Signor, and he's like, "You're going to call me out, bro?" And then he's like, getting all postury. And then he started to like trip out in the texts and, just being like, "Oh, this and all that."
Did you, like, meet me outside? Like, what?
He didn't do a meet me outside because he's in Florida, but.
No, I know, but still, what is that?
He started to trip out, and then he called.
What a weird stance to take, too, instead of just being like, "Hey, I noticed something, and I have some concerns, and I have a question." Like instead of just being like, "What's up?"
He called me, and I answered right away. I was reluctant at first. I was like, I don't know if I want to deal with this guy tonight. It was 10 o'clock.
It was like 10:30 on a Sunday night.
It was 10:30 on a Sunday night, bro. I was like, man, fuck, what? I had taken a complete day off for the first time in forever, where like I literally like forbade myself from like going on Canva and working on thumbnails or to anything. I was just like, I'm gonna have a whole day. I didn't log on to any social media. Like I was just taking a full day for myself, playing video games, watched a baseball game, just enjoying my life for a minute.
I'm always encouraging Dale to do this because he just does not do it enough.
So then
he's gonna burn out.
So then fucking Andy calls it's like the 11th hour. Like all I needed was him to leave me alone for about another hour and a half, and I go to bed, and I deal with that guy in the morning. But instead he called, and I answered the phone, and he was irate. Like, irate
from the start.
Yeah, man, he started calling me names straight away. He called me a rat. He called me a rat.
Wait, what's the reason? What's the explanation for that?
Well, he was very mad about the way I'm treating him, and I started shouting at him.
A rat? Like
I don't know. I was like, well, you
Well, like you guys are in a criminal enterprise together.
I know you were there. I was like, what did I rat on you? What did I rat you on? Who did I rat you to? What are you fucking talking about? It was weird.
Okay, but that's so interesting. So does he think that he's doing crimes? and that you're telling people about those crimes.
Yeah, he called me a rat. That's all I can tell you.
Or something, and that he doesn't want you to divulge his crimes. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, maybe. I got to tell you though, like what I need to learn how to do is I do need to learn how to. I need to be a little more stoic. Like I love my emotional self and my passion.
Yeah.
It drives me. It drives all my art. It drives everything I do.
It's useful.
It's useful, and it's also like who I am. It's part of my personality. I'm a very emotional person. I wear my shit on my sleeve. Whatever. Right. I'm also living in this like weird slanted like truth now that people are there's so many just demented people out there, and I didn't know that. Like it wasn't until like maybe 5 years ago or something that I was like I think it was COVID that was like, wow. People just blatantly don't want to help anybody out. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, hang on. I got to get my captcha.
It's also just people are so consumed with, like, and continuously involving themselves in negativity, too.
Yeah.
Like, just, like, today I was, like, being badgered by these, like, total strangers on Twitter just because I had a different opinion. And I was just like, wow, you guys, like, spend your time, like, picking on strangers. It's, like, so weird. You could be doing anything. You could be, like, planting a garden or, like, cooking something nice. Like, what are you doing here, like, trying to hassle me? It's fucking weird. And, like, Andy Signor, the whole time, the whole 40 fucking minutes
badgered
that
me.
He was badgering you on the telephone last night, I was like, damn, really doesn't seem like a guy who has kids and a home and, like, anything better to do, but I know he does. Like, why is he doing this with his time?
Angela recorded it just because we want to make sure that if he tries to say something that I didn't say, that, you know, we have a record of it, you know, and so we recorded for our own use.
Yeah, I didn't know he was badgering you because I couldn't hear his end.
Right. But anyway,
but like that's fucking crazy that he just like started out like super irate from the very beginning, like not asking any questions.
And I answered the phone very friendly because like I was ready to have a discussion about it. And the truth is like had he just said, "Hey, I think that video you put out is a little harsh, bro."
I know.
And then I would have looked at it and went, "All right, fine, I'll delete it." And I actually did delete it. I just deleted it anyway because I was like, well, who cares? I mean, it's just a stupid little video.
Yeah,
like
well, I don't know why he cares, but you certainly don't.
No, I don't. It was just a short, right? I mean, the master is still up it's in the context of the live. I didn't take that out, but I did delete the short because he was all, you know, he had everything in a knot over it. But anyway, he was very angry. He was very loud. He it's all very manipulative too, the way he was like, for example, he like at one point he pointed out that I'd mentioned that in a text I accused him of being irate in a text, and he pointed out that I was wrong about that, and I tried to make him clear, like all it means is that I confused that memory with another memory. There was still a moment that you scared me away from you, bro.
Also, you weren't wrong because here he is being irate with you. So
yeah,
it's
of course.
Like if you had a sense that he was capable of doing this, you weren't fucking wrong.
So he kept trying to create these situations. Like another situation, for example, was that I told him that, like I was yelling at him, like back at him because he was calling me all these names and stuff, and I was like, he was saying really stupid shit, like I was using his name. He's like, "You're using my name." I was like, "Who the fuck do you think you are, Andy Signor?" I was like, "Your name? I literally have like 700 views." It was like 700 views, Andy, or 500 views, you know, versus the 500,000 that, you know, he got off of my story. Granted, it's because he had the following, but you know what I mean? It's 700 views there, big shot. You know, it was just like all these like weird things.
What I love about that so much is that his whole channel is a celebrity gossip channel, right? So, Dale.
Yes.
So the projection is just astounding to me. That he is upset that you're using his name when his entire
career
focus is using people's names.
His entire life is using other people's names for clicks.
Why doesn't it go both ways, bro?
You know what's so funny about this whole thing too is that like all these people are talking shit about him, right? I'm talking shit about him on my live. You read that thing on Twitter, which was one of the provocations.
To clarify, you're not talking shit. You are it's very justifiable to dislike when people are engaging in a smear campaign that has no validity and is actually damaging people who are innocent. Like,
so I should say
that's not talking shit. That's actually like
exposing,
telling the truth
exposing
about bad behavior. Like, I don't feel like it's just like you.
I got it.
In the argument, it's so easy to forget what the point of it all is, but that is absolutely the point. From the beginning, you have been like critical of this dude because of his behavior, not because you dislike him, not because you are like chasing clout or whatever the fuck he wants to think. Like, he is doing things that is inviting criticism.
Let me get to some of the funny part. Let me get to some of the funny parts. And I mean, it was like this big blowout. Like, it was highly stressful. Like, I actually I had a feeling of hives by the end of it, because it was just highly fueled, stressed out.
Yeah,
like
getting yelled at for 40 minutes.
Being yelled at. This guy is calling me names, and
I don't know why you don't just fucking hang up with people, because I would have,
so
had to deal with that.
So a couple of things. First of all, first thing he said, which I felt like because we know he's in with Brian Friedman to some extent, because we know that Brian Friedman fed him a statement earlier than he had any other in the press. So he's got a relationship with Brian Friedman. We also know that he has a relationship with Johnny Depp's publicist, who happens to also be Justin Baldoni's publicist. So he's dealing with the same people and has been dealing with the same people for years. So, we obviously know all that. But, pretty butterfly. So he said, he basically admitted their case, and it sounded to me, admitted the truth, which is that it's a smear campaign, right? So I'm yelling at him because he's screaming at me about how Blake Lively's going to go down, like super delusional stuff. And I'll get into the delusion in a minute, but
Justin Baldoni's case just got thrown out. What do you think she's going to?
So I said that, right? And he laughed at me, and he said that was a PR lawsuit.
Oh, that Justin Baldoni's lawsuit was a PR lawsuit?
Yes.
He's saying that?
Yes.
That's really interesting.
Shouting at me and laughing at me.
Oh, and laughing at you.
Laughing at me.
So like everybody knows.
Mocking me as if...
He is defending a guy who he admits submitted a PR lawsuit to the courts?
I mean, maybe he wasn't laughing, but it was like, some kind of... It felt to me like he was like, whatever,
this
talking
is what
down to
I'm
me.
saying. These people are such dummies. Because it's like, if you're involved in like a scandal, if you're trying to manipulate and trick people, like, why are you telling everybody? Why would he admit that?
But that's a smear campaign. Like, you can call that. So he tried to, and this was the accusation. And this is, by the way, why his attorney, why Friedman is. It's embarrassing. But why Friedman has been subpoenaed is because he used the lawsuit as a guise to smear her name.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew it, but it's just weird to hear it come from the other side, where they're
just admitted it as if
moralizing and like they're all virtuous about how Blake Lively's the offender in all of this, but meanwhile they're admitting that the whole game.
So it gets funny. It gets even more funny. This guy says to me, so he goes to me, he tells me, he starts screaming at me and telling me that I don't know anything about what's going on, that I know nothing, that he's making a documentary, that he has deep inside stuff. And I'm yelling back at him. I'm like, are you trying to tell me that you know more than the fucking judge? Do you know more than Judge Lyman? Is that what you're trying to say to me?
If there's evidence that would help them in their case,
why wouldn't they give it to the judge?
They would give it to the judge.
They would give it to the judge, Andy. You're being a fool right now. If you think you're
They're saving, like, important evidence that proves the whole thing for you?
I literally yelled, dude, you're not some kind of embedded fucking documentary filmmaker, bro. You don't have some inside shit. You're getting completely bamboozled. I mean, really, really insane. Like,
well, so here's what I don't get.
But let me finish. So then he says to me, he's like dishing on Blake Lively. And at one point he goes, Harvey Weinstein supports Blake Lively. And I was like, no, he doesn't. He's like, he backs her. As if like everybody's like waiting for that, waste of space rotting in jail to back somebody. Like it's
literally
like
rotting.
like
it's just like, I have no teeth left.
Yeah, he's literally rotting behind bars because he's the very same kind of pig that Blake Lively is fighting against. And of course that's not true. Like that's just utterly stupid and incorrect. And so I didn't have the time to look it up because he's yelling at me. We're yelling back and forth for 40 straight minutes. I mean, pure fuel the whole time. And so I looked it up right away. And it took me literally, like all I said was Harvey Weinstein backs, I forget what I said, whatever I said. And page 6, headline, and he backed Justin Baldoni. Now, I knew this to be the case.
Yeah, from prison. I remember he spoke out. And
he
was like, I'm following this case very closely.
Yeah.
And I really like what Justin Baldoni is doing so far. Like,
so here's
I'm
one.
siding with him.
So here's one instance where this guy who tells me, he tells me he's getting all this deep inside information, and he's trying to tell me that Harvey Weinstein supports Blake Lively. Here's another fucking interesting little tidbit. I brought up the lawsuit with, what's his name? This one. Shane Norman. We've talked about it on our YouTube live, on our TikTok live for months and months and months and months and months. In fact, I got this tip right away. Like, I'm sure I got it from one of her publicists. She didn't identify herself as such, but she slipped it in and she was gone. And in it, and this was just after I'd done my first post about Blake Lively, and in it, of course, Justin Baldoni is accused of racial discrimination and of retaliation after this person reported it to HR. So, similar to...
It's not a good look, dude.
Very bad look, but
he's only 5 years old.
Here's the thing.
Got a bunch of lawsuits.
Here's the thing, man. Andy Signor is making a fucking documentary. He's got all the low down inside stuff. He's in deep. He's embedded. He knows everybody. He's getting inside. You don't know who I know, he said. Like, acting like Deep Throat, Listen to me. He's acting like fucking Deep Throat. He didn't even know what this was.
He didn't know.
He didn't even know what he was. You know what he said to me? He said, "Oh yeah, I think I know what that one is. Justin Baldoni isn't even mentioned in it."
No, he's like a main.
He's fucking no. He's on the complaint, but there's also like in the actual body of the complaint. The complainant describes a story where he takes it to. I know he's a defendant, but beyond being a defendant, it's explained in the body of the text. He's not just a defendant by name or association. He's a defendant because he was actively involved in the whole fucking retaliation and so on and so forth. And Andy Signor didn't know about it. He didn't know about it.
Well, you can't help these people.
But he's making a documentary. He's got the inside stuff. He's telling me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and he doesn't even know that Justin Baldoni had a previous lawsuit. That had
same MO.
The same MO.
Same shit that he's doing in this one.
So Andy Signor had no idea that was happening. I'm saying my jaw's dropping open at this point because he doesn't even know.
I think you're reliving the call a little.
The bare bone facts. I'm getting kind of excited, but he doesn't even relive. He's not even like aware of the bare bone fact. Like, these are bare bone facts. Like, this is like shit that's been going around for a long time.
Really long time.
And this is what I mean by him being absolutely lazy. And here's the story that I've been waiting to tell you guys, because this is the story that really like confirmed it all. And I started shouting, this is how you do your so-called press. This is how you report on things. So I did an interview on his channel. It did 500,000 views. We sold a bunch of books. It was right at the launch of my books, a book 3 months after the launch back in September 2024, end of September 2024. And just before Diddy gets arrested, just like literally days before Diddy gets arrested. And I got to back up a little bit. Sorry, I got a little adrenaline dump on it. Yeah, I just crossed wires in my head, and so Andy Signor. So I go on his channel and I do this. I forget where I was going. God damn it!
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Well, I think I know where you're going.
Okay, go ahead. Help.
You were showing him that your book was already getting good reviews.
After it was released. Right. So what happened was, thank you very much.
Which was really amazing, and we were super surprised.
So
when it started happening.
Like days, maybe a week after we had done the interview. I had done the interview, and we were selling some books, and we got a review, a 5-star review. So I sent him this 5-star review. And in the 5-star review, somebody tried to guess who Emily Foster is. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about Emily Foster, who is I consider at least potentially a victim of at least inappropriate, but probably SA, right? By Leonardo DiCaprio in the book taking place in 1995, right? So
the name that you've used in your book is deliberately a pseudonym.
Correct. I will never name who
this person.
Right, Emily Foster is. And before I even published the book, you and I had a very deep, long conversation about Emily Foster because we wanted to make sure that I was never going to fuck this up. And one of the things that we agreed on was that I wouldn't also allow her identity to be narrowed down by people trying
to identify her by exclusion.
Right, by people saying it's this person, and me go, no, it's not that person. And you were like, and you were in particular, you were like, you have to make sure that if you're going to protect her identity, that you're protecting her identity even when somebody's trying to name the person and they're wrong.
Because people are good investigators, bro. You can't give them anything.
People are great investigators. So Andy Signor comes to me. So Andy Signor, not Andy Signor, he doesn't investigate. He just reads other people's headlines, and then he goes, I'm not going to fault him for that. I have a great time doing that shit.
But you're not claiming to be.
But I'm not claiming to be something I'm otherwise. So anyway, So this fucking guy.
So you sent him this.
So I'm on the phone with him yesterday.
No, but listen. So
Yeah.
you sent him this explicitly, just be like, look, we're already getting 5-star reviews. I'm so happy.
Right.
And the one that you
I said,
sent
check
him-
out this review, bro. Is all I said. Like, check out this review, bro, or something like that. And he saw so I didn't set it up like that way, but I set it up like more like just watch this review. At least that's how I recall. He or see this, read this review. He immediately assumed that what I was doing was showing him a review that revealed who Emily Foster was.
He just assumed that, but he'd never talked to you about it?
He just assumed that what I was doing by sending him that review was revealing who Emily Foster was. Right. I was giving him the old wink-a-doo here. Hey, Andy, I know I said I wasn't going to tell anybody. You're in tight, buddy. I'm going to send you a clue.
A clue, right. Okay, but here's the thing that I need to clarify. He never asked you. He never asked you where he was like, you sent him this thing, and he was like, oh, that must be who Emily Foster
No, he didn't ask me. He just, he said to me, he called me right away. So I sent it to him, and he called me instantly, and we were on the phone, and he was like, oh my God. And I couldn't do anything because we had already talked about me not revealing even, and I was like, I'm not telling you anything like that, bro. I'm not telling you anything. And he's like, obviously you are. And I was like, I couldn't like compromise this principle that we had laid as a boundary for maintaining and retaining the anonymity of this person in 1995.
So you're like, I cannot confirm nor deny that you.
So this fucking bonehead yesterday, and I'm calling him a bonehead now. I called him an oaf before, and he got really offended. He was so offended in the call that I called him an oaf. And the reason, and it's just so funny because it's kind of a term of endearment of him being a bumbling idiot, because he is an oaf. He's accused, and this is why I brought this up. This guy is accused of this SA. And at the very least, if you want to believe his story, he was a married man who got involved with this employee or somebody working within his network. He sent that person a very lewd video of him taking care of himself, right? And that stuff got out. I mean, it's just oaf move after another.
But aren't you in the middle of telling a story about the review and how he got an idea that was wrong?
Well, I am. I'm going a roundabout way.
Okay. So he calls you yesterday.
So he calls me yesterday, this guy, and I'm calling him a bonehead now because he calls me yesterday, and we're in the heat in this argument, and then he says to me that I revealed to him who Emily Foster was. He said he's I mean, what he said. He said he was like, and then you tell me who she is, and he's like, because he was using it as a badge of honor. He was saying that I confided in him who Emily Foster was, and he's respected that. And I was like, I never told you anything about
that he respected that?
Yeah, and that he's been respecting that.
He never made a video about it.
Or told anyone, or I guess. I don't know what the fuck he wants an award for. But
yeah. And you're like, I didn't do that.
I didn't.
I explicitly did not do that.
No, I explicitly did not do that. And so I tell him, I was like, Andy, I didn't do that. I didn't tell you it was her. And he was like, okay, Dale. Okay. Here, I want to make clear what we're talking about. I'm literally on the phone with this guy telling him that the person that he's trying to identify as Emily Foster in my book, who was assaulted by Leonardo DiCaprio on Christmas 1995.
Allegedly assaulted.
Allegedly. Well, I don't know. Allegedly. I was there.
Yes. No, I know. But you believe he was assaulted.
She was. Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
And he's arguing with me. He's like literally like, yeah, okay, buddy. Like, this is the kind of reporting this guy does.
Tell him he's fucking wrong?
No, of course, I told him over and over again. I even wrote him afterwards. I want to be clear about this because I don't want you spreading rumors that aren't fucking true.
Oh, yeah, like
including that I confided in you. Yeah, including that I confided in you. I would never confide in you my secrets.
Well, so that's so interesting. So this is how he collects his information, right? You are an inside source for this thing that he has gotten in his own mind, completely invented confirmation of.
Right.
It never happened.
Never happened.
You never even had the conversation.
No.
But because he made an assumption.
Yes.
And then went forward with it as if it was fact.
Tattooed it on his brain.
That became a known intel, like known information that he then could like bank on.
And then he tried to throw it in my face as some kind of thing.
And then accuse you of
yes.
lying to him about it. When you're like, don't you think I know, bro?
So I had to literally send him like instructions on how like life works. I was like, dude, I didn't say anything. You made these assumptions. But what I'm trying to illustrate here is...
It says a lot about the way he conducts his work with this Blake Lively situation.
Well, what I'm trying to illustrate
Where
here...
the fuck does he get this information?
Is that he gets real committed to false facts.
Yes.
Like super committed to false facts.
That's dangerous.
And he, not only does he get committed to false facts, but he created a false fact out of something that didn't actually happen. All things he assumed created this false fact in his head that he probably still believes to this day.
Even though you refuted it.
So,
even though you told me
right,
that
I
it was
actually
false.
can see, I revealed it yesterday and I said it was false because I don't want him
No, of course not.
going around and making this other actor who doesn't deserve to have her name exposed.
And look, I really respect that in this conflict, in this description, you're still holding back naming the person that it isn't. Because I think I think it's just super wise.
What, in this conversation we're having now?
Yes, you're protecting the real Emily Foster every time you do this, right?
Yes.
Like every time you make sure that nobody knows who the fuck it isn't, you're protecting who the fuck it is.
Right. Like, look, there's only a certain number of people that can meet the MO. You can get to the person eventually, and if I narrow it down to a party of 4 or party of 5 that are reasonable within the church, you know how obsessed people get?
Yes, I do.
Like, they get obsessed, bro. And if, like, this book were to take off and people were suddenly committed to finding out, obviously I pointed out, one of the things I did also wanted to point out in that review was that they're already starting to guess, who she is.
Yeah, I hate that they're doing that.
But it wasn't a confession of who it was. I would never confess who that person is. And then he argues with it. Like, argues,
Yes, I know.
argues it with me.
Okay,
I'm
so
like,
this says-
are you out of your mind?
I'm so glad that this came up because you were like, wow, we're seeing in real time how Andy Signor develops his understanding.
Like, right there in real time, bro. Like, false facts.
He makes a wild assumption.
Tattooed on his brain. Like,
And then it becomes fact to him.
I couldn't believe it.
Can you imagine being in a relationship with somebody like that?
And
It
then,
must be hell.
no, I can't imagine being in a relationship with somebody like that. Dude, it was difficult, like, navigating and he was like, the acting, he was like, we were friends. I've spent, like, all of, I don't know, maybe 11 to 14 hours, and that would be really on the max with Andy Signor in my life.
I know, it's always it's an interview capacity, too.
Yeah, and it was always professional. Like, dude's never reached out to me to see how I was doing. He's never, ever, in his life, he's never been like, hey, I wonder, you know who I missed today? Dale Wheatley.
Oh,
Dale, it's your good friend Andy Signor.
Dale's team won the Super Bowl. I'm going to just send him a little note of congratulations.
Exactly, because he doesn't even fucking know what team I cheer for. You know why? Because we're not friends. We were friendly. And I respected my friendly relationship with him until I saw him attack a woman to the extent that he wants to actually ruin her existence. He wants to destroy her reputation, and he has no reason to do it. And the only two things... Now, here's the other interesting part about all this. And I actually reviewed the tape today so that I'm not going to make a mistake about this.
The tape, it's like one-sided, right?
Yeah,
like
my side of the conversation. But in writing and vocally, I very blatantly said, I believe you're getting paid. I put it in writing.
Oh, to get involved in the smear campaign?
I believe you're getting paid by Baldoni's side to smear Blake Lively. I said that. I said that to him loud and clear in the conversation. Yesterday, I wrote it down. I wrote it to him. I believe you're getting, Andy, what you did is fucked up. And I believe if you're not getting, or it's misogyny.
I also heard you ask him, why are you doing this?
Why are you
doing a smear campaign against Blake Lively?
He didn't deny it is where I'm going, Angela. I asked him, he had 3 opportunities. Now listen, he calls himself a member of the press, right? He knows, he's got all the inside information. He's got all the goods. He's making a documentary. I mean, this guy, you don't even know what he knows. I don't know what I'm a puny little fucking pecker compared to the great Andy Signor. Bow before him. He's like a great magical owl in a tree looking down upon me. I don't know where I'm getting this imagery.
So he didn't deny that he was being...
He didn't deny it, dude. Where I'm trying to get is like he didn't deny it. But isn't it like the biggest insult of everything I said? Like, you call him an oaf is ridiculous, right? I'm here now calling him a bonehead.
I kind of wish he wouldn't repeat it.
Calling him an oaf is ridiculous.
Stupid.
Calling him a shill, getting paid by that party to propagate these fucking nasty things about Blake Lively didn't bother him a bit. Didn't refute it. Not once. Didn't say, of course I'm not getting paid or anything like. Didn't deny it. Now, that doesn't mean that he is getting paid, and it doesn't mean that he's admitting to getting paid in that situation, but I did think that it's noteworthy that he didn't deny it.
It would explain a lot. Because it does seem like Kirsty Flaw, too, like, they're both, like, grinding so hard on this one subject. And I feel like there's got to be some sort of, like, motivation to do that, right? Like, there's got to be some sort of reward to put this much into it. What would... I just can't imagine that many people are interested in this content, that they're churning out so much. There's got to be some incentive. I don't know. It would make a lot of sense if there were.
And then the other thing he did was he keeps trying to manipulate this. He kept trying to manipulate the situation in all these different ways. Like, for example, what I was trying to tell him, and he kept trying to, like, it was so weird. So, first of all, when I first interviewed with him, he told me to stay off of politics completely because although he's not a Trump supporter, many of his followers are. So he was like, so don't get down that... Don't go down that path.
That's good advice.
Because you'll only just create problems for yourself.
Yeah, you don't want to step in a
right.
fire ant hill.
Super good advice. I was like, yeah, bro, no problem. You know, I mean, I live with Trump supporters all around me. I mean, that's cool. Whatever, man. We'll move along. So yesterday, I was trying to tell him that he's being bamboozled by what I called like a extreme right wing pipeline of propaganda. Right? And I was like, they're just funneling you this fucking information and you're just eating it up and buying it, thinking you're the Mr. Privilege guy, getting all the lowdown, oh my God, nobody knows what the hell's going on. But Andy Signor is the person they turn to.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're talking about Brian Friedman and Melissa Nathan specifically go out to one brand, right?
Yeah.
Like one kind of media outlets.
Yeah.
Right? And they're often doing a lot of this like right-wing misogynistic, like, alt-right type shit.
Yeah.
Like Candace Owens and the Megyn Kelly and
I mean, like, don't tell me.
So you're telling him that he's the company he keeps?
No, I'm not telling him he's the company he keeps. That's the offense he took. And as a matter of fact, his first offense was that he was like, I hate Donald Trump, he said, and all this nonsense. And I was like, I don't care, bro. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you're getting information from this fucking this like this far right like hatred machine that wants to just put out vitriol and pain and create divisiveness.
Yeah, like if you're not the company you keep, then maybe you shouldn't keep that company. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying what I'm trying to say is that you don't have good information. You have bad information coming from bad actors,
because they have
and these bad actors have a fucking pool of almost a theory of a process that they know to be effective that they use to go and stir the nests up to get these people crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly why they wanted to use Melissa Nathan, because she has a reputation for attacking women accusers.
It's her specialty in the same way that what's her name over at Megan Taze.
I'm sorry, Megan Twohey?
Oh my God, Megan Twohey over at the fucking at the Times has her specialty to a certain extent.
Is smear campaigns in retaliation for sexual harassment allegations. Yeah, that's Megan Twohey's beat. That's what she's been covering.
No, Guilty Angel. He says he's Guilty Angel's asking if Signor is a Trump supporter, and he tells me he's not, and I don't even fucking care. Like, be a Trump supporter. I don't give a shit. That's none of my business anyway. I don't even care that he is. But what I was trying to tell him was that I wasn't trying to tell him he was a Trump supporter. I was simply trying to tell him that he was getting piped information, bad information.
Because here's the thing: is he's not admitting that he's in on it, and so what you were trying to do is like to help him understand that if you're not in on it, then you're being manipulated, right? Like if you're not directly benefiting from the manipulation, then you too are being manipulated to carry out that manipulation through your channel. Right. It's just like you're either a soldier in their army or you're like, a pawn. I don't know, whatever that's about. You can edit that one out. That didn't work out.
You can't give me editing notes during the live, Angela. Stop.
Oh, should I be ashamed? Did that come up?
Oh yeah, so Angela was shamed for Angela. He told me to shame you.
To shame me?
Yeah, he told me to shame you because how dare you report on this live that you're reading tweets of people who are calling him out for his past and for his behaviors and for this this like clearly either misogynistic or bot behavior that he's displaying.
Oh, I think that,
and I want to, just for the record, by the way, I just want to say that the reason I got so upset in the last live, and the reason why I do get upset about it in general, is that the one thing that gets lost in all of this is the amount of damage that they're doing to somebody's life. And it's I think it's easy for people to think, oh, she's rich, she's famous, she has everything, she's got the family.
Lively?
Yeah, Blake Lively. Blake Lively has all the things. So, what? Who cares? This is just like whatever. It's just a bump in the road, but her road is well, paved in gold. All this stuff. But the distress that this kind of stuff brings is as toxic as any of us can experience at any class level.
Well, also, yeah, she just plainly, regardless of what the consequences are, she doesn't deserve it. So, don't do it. Like,
I'm just saying it's easy for people to be like, oh, fuck her, she's rich. And, the reality is that what Andy Signor is doing is deliberately affecting her quality of life and the quality of life of her family.
Okay, but I want to talk about...
Ryan Reynolds literally was on Time Magazine and he chose to turn his head.
Oh, yeah, but that was...
symbolic.
His explanation for that was that the article was about his company.
Yeah.
And that
he's not the head.
He might be like the figurehead of the company, but he wanted to make sure that he wasn't like so centered. So
right. He's not trying to be Elon Musk. He's trying to be a company. He's trying to be a company man.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not done talking about how I should be ashamed. Because I think it's delightful.
Yeah, you said you should be ashamed, and I was like, for what? For fucking going on the internet and seeing people talk about you and then bringing it to the live?
I think what offended him so much was that I said, and I'll say it again, that if somebody sends unsolicited lewd videos to somebody, unsolicited, unwanted,
of course,
then they're a fucking pig.
Yeah.
Is what I said.
I think it's a really great way to describe them.
And I stand by that. I think that's okay.
I think that's a perfectly good description.
What's so interesting about being shamed is that like he doesn't know that I have really strong like Aquarius placements, and so it empowers me. Like I have a level of like don't give a fuck about what other people think, that if somebody tries to assert that give a fuck onto me, I grow in power. I like power up. My not
you
give
level
a
up.
fuck, my not give a fuck expands.
It levels
until
up.
It fills the room.
Level 70 of not giving one fuck.
It's like what is that? I don't care. Let me find this. This is really fun. I saved this. I actually saved it in my Baldoni folder because it's so perfect.
By the way, guys, we might have some like bad characters showing up and like hitting the comments section and like trying to wait. Can I just finish what I'm saying while you're doing this? So if you guys happen to like drop a comment, a positive comment in any of our videos, it'd go a long way to helping.
Is this this really cute?
I know I ask you guys a lot.
It's like this,
I do.
It's this meme from I can't remember this cartoon. Anyway, I'll just put it up on the live. When you edit. It said, your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
Yeah. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer. Yeah, that's it, really.
Because that's how I feel about all of like the Baldoni supporters. It's like, okay, you don't like my perspective. Well, you're fucking involved in a smear campaign. And that doesn't make you a good person. So if you don't like me, then great. Like, So
anyway, Andy Signor was exactly. Andy Signor
You're
was
a fucking bad person. I don't give a fuck what you think.
Andy Signor was extremely, extremely mad. He's never going to talk to me again, which I'm like I don't think he understands. Like I called him out. He's like so funny. He was like, "You can't fire me. I quit."
Oh
like I literally called him out. I was literally like, I slung the first stone. Like he was to me. When you read that he called Blake Lively supporters desperate, when she's literally mopping the floor with these fools, I just had enough. I was like, your delusions are no good here. And by the way, you know what's very interesting about how revealing the call was? He was bringing up the same shit that they've been talking about over and over again. He was talking about Baldoni in the basement.
Oh my God, the basement. Oh
yeah, yeah, dude.
He's a grown man. He did not get forced to walk his whole entourage down into a basement of an event that he paid for.
There were restaurants right across the street.
He could have just gone to a nice little bar, and even if they don't drink alcohol, they could have had some shrubs. You know, like it's Manhattan.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
The basement. He owned the movie.
That's my favorite one because I just like it's just astounding to me that anybody is buying that story where he was like, we were forced by Blake Lively down into the basement. I'm sorry, are you a powerless little child with no autonomy in the world? How did you direct a movie? You know? No wonder Sony decided that you weren't fucking capable. You can't even keep yourself out of a basement.
It's awful. And by the way, Andy started yelling. What did he start yelling? He started yelling. Oh fuck!
You want to go? Hear from the chat?
Yeah, let's hear from the chat.
Guilty Angel said, "And Signor is a jerk. Why is he hating Blake like this?"
I asked him repeatedly. He had no answer except that he kept. This is what I was going to say. He kept saying, "She's Tobey Maguire, Dale.
Oh my God.
She's Tobey Maguire." This is what she said. This is what he kept saying over and over again. That she is. She and Ryan Reynolds are Toby and Leo.
Of course he would say that because he doesn't even understand your story. He never understood your story. The whole time that you're interviewing with him, you're like, no, Andy, it's not like that. Like, you can listen to me. I know the story. So, of course, he's going to assume that he knows what he's talking about because he's so confidently wrong. He's the most confidently wrong person ever. I feel like if anybody ever feels like a little bit unsure about yourself, maybe a little like lacking confidence about something that you want to do, some big ambitious thing, just remember Andy Signor.
Yeah. You know, he does
not know what the fuck he's talking about.
And then he
is so proud of himself for the wrong information that he spreads. And
then he got so weird at the end. At the end, he goes, he's like, first of all, he goes, and you're not an author. I was like,
oh, whatever.
What? Wait, before you do.
That's
he goes,
so dumb.
I was like, well, wait. And then he says to me, Dale, and another thing, you need to get over it. Can you fucking believe this? Like, I was like, what are we talking about? We're literally talking about Blake Lively
exploiting my life story.
and how.
Why should I get over
exploiting my life story? It's a memoir.
I know.
You fucker. It's my past. It's literally my past. It's what memoirs do. You know, I can't write a memoir about the present or the fucking future, buddy. It's a memoir.
It's amazing that people aren't like, people are saying get over it instead of being like, wow, you have a really unique story that not a lot of people can tell. You should definitely tell that story more.
Remember Daisy May Mom from
Yes.
Yeah, she's on TikTok right now. Hi Daisy May Mom. It's been so long.
Good to see you.
You may have been on and I missed you. And I have missed you if you haven't.
May I?
You may.
Present to you some items from the chat.
Yeah. Please.
Let's see. Guilty Angel said you were not harsh to Signor. Rainbow Pickle said give them your wrath. Rainbow Pickle said be Blake's dragon. That's so dumb. I love it. Delicate said stand behind me, Dale.
Yeah. I will.
Guilty Angel said, do you want me to handle it, Dale? Just say the word.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh my god, this is really great. You guys are lovely. Delicate said, your rant's going to get me going. I'm always over here like, preach, Dale.
Yeah, I like ranting. It's a part of who I am, and it's just like I'm a passionate guy, and you know I can be a little crafty with my passion as well, and so it's just part of who I am. I want to be that. I want to be who I am. I don't want to change for anybody. Fuck that. You know, I'm a passionate guy, and if it looks like anger sometimes, I don't really care. You know, it's not.
Yeah, I know,
you know.
And I think it's good that we're talking together on your channel because I think people can always. What are you doing? Oh, you're gonna clean your. Hey,
it's so bad.
Listen,
it looks like. Hang on, guys. I'm gonna
talk to you.
Let's see what happens. Hang on. There we go.
I was just saying. I think it's probably useful that I'm here so that people know that you're not like.
That was a heavy duty smudge.
Off one.
Yeah.
You know, like you'll be ranting, and I'm like, just chill out, dude. Like, let me ask you a question.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I had to clean the lens. You guys are like, this guy's a bad filmmaker, bro. He had like a fingerprint.
Listen,
I am.
Erica said his misogyny is so lame. More like Andy's Sig snore. Am I right?
Oh! Sig snore.
He's gonna call you again about that one, Dale. He's gonna call you, and he's gonna be very.
I don't
upset.
care what Andy Signor does. You know what, dude? He revealed himself to be what he is, and I'm glad. He was like, I'm gonna delete all your videos. I was like, be my fucking guest. Well, first of all, that's your prerogative, bro.
Yeah, you can't.
They're your videos.
You can't tell him what to do on his channel.
He's like, I'm gonna delete your videos. I'm like, please do.
Well, it's not your choice. It's a stupid thing to threaten because you're like, okay, well, I have no control.
I don't even think about those fucking videos, you know?
Erica said, you shouldn't delete that short just because he's being a baby. That was a good rant and well earned.
Well, I didn't delete. There's 3 of them. I was just like maybe too much Andy Signor, frankly.
Erica said he gets views off of others' names for a living.
Exactly. Yeah, well, this is the other thing. I was like, I yelled this at him too. I was like, you don't like it, huh? You don't like when people are talking about you. You don't like it when you think people are getting facts about you that are wrong.
Pause and think about that for a minute. Like, you're a perpetrator of the exact same sort of bullying that you're accusing other people of doing. It's just nuts.
Right.
Okay, Delica said if he wants to open his mouth, he has to grow a thick skin and face the consequences like being called out. It's what this Kirsty Flaw lady does. They are going after people who are exposing them.
I can't wait.
I heard she's really litigious.
Listen, who? Kirsty Flaw? Yeah, she'll go after you.
That's fucking bullshit, bro.
I mean, he can't go after me. I'm allowed my opinions.
Oh yeah, I know. That's just like
they're my opinions.
Shaming me is so adorable. I love that so much.
He's in the public eye, dude. You know, he doesn't get to. Sorry, buddy. You're fucking in the public eye.
What's really adorable is like, man, I'm impervious to being shamed by somebody who has done so many shameful things.
Well, yeah,
like,
and
I'm like, okay, obviously you don't have a good barometer for what shame is.
Right.
Like it's a foreign concept to you. I don't know why you think I should be shamed.
No, there's no nice way to put what he like. There's nothing that Andy Signor did in his like controversial past. There's no nice way to put that. Like he didn't ever like.
I'm not talking just about his past, but his current, present.
Well, sure. I mean, they're connected.
Like like it's fucked up. Constantly spending every waking hour like bullying Blake Lively like she ever fucking did anything.
I love that he's like trying to tell me that he's got inside information and he doesn't know who Harvey Weinstein backed. You know,
but he's got inside information and he doesn't know about the Shane Norman case.
Unbelievable.
Baldoni.
He probably doesn't know about the other
Travis Flores, yeah.
Travis Flores. In that case,
man, it's just like really hard to defend a guy when he's been in business for 5 years and had 4 lawsuits.
You can't trust anything Andy Signor says because Andy Signor buys into false facts that he creates in his head.
Yep.
Like that's what it demonstrates what he did with Emily Foster. He created a false fact in his head, and he was so sure about it that he challenged me, the originator of that fact.
Unbelievable.
I was the only one of the two of us who witnessed this.
That's the worst part about it because like he's even impervious to reason.
Right.
Like if he's being faced with somebody who does know the truth of a matter and he's arguing with you, then this is a person who doesn't have critical thinking skills. He doesn't have common sense.
I agree.
Why would he argue with you? You know what I mean?
Well, he thinks I'm trying to cover up. He thinks I'm trying to cover up that I trusted him enough
to. You're a liar.
Yes.
Well, that's so fucking stupid.
Yeah. Well, that's the implication is that I'm lying to him.
Okay. I mean, I guess for people who deal in lies all the time, it's easy to assume people are lying. I take for granted that I know very, very much you're not a liar. Like.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, your central characteristic is that you're not a liar.
Correct.
You, like, identify with that.
Yes.
You're like Dale, not liar Wheatley.
Well,
and so it's just weird to me whenever anybody assumes that you might be lying.
Yeah.
Because it's just.
And it's not because I'm like this, Johnny do-gooder. I try to lie. I'm really bad at it. I lied through my childhood like everybody else. And I failed and failed and failed at it. And as I've gotten older, even the smaller lies bother me. Like white lies, like calling out sick, even though, fuck you, I'm out sick. I haven't called out sick and I haven't worked for anybody in 20 years.
Cosmic Urgency said, anyone else nervous Dale is going to slip and say the real name? I am constantly nervous that Dale is going to slip and say the real name. I'm nervous Dale's going to slip and say the not real name and somehow narrow it down. I
have this like internal policy that I will not speak about Emily Foster unless I've had time to prepare my brain before the talk.
Don't even say it anymore.
So if somebody brings that up, it's like, if I'm going into an interview with the book, for example,
we don't talk about it.
No. If we're going into the interview with the book, I will prepare. And I go through a series of making sure that and you and I even don't talk about her real name in our home. Like
I don't even know her real name anymore.
We don't say her real name in our home anymore. Yeah. Like that's how practiced we are. But I'm always nervous. Of course, I'm always nervous, man. I'm not the only one who knows her name, by the way. So it's not like I'm the only keeper of this secret.
Yeah,
obviously,
there were a lot of people in that room.
Yeah, there was like 8 or 10 people or whatever. The depositions have all the people that a lot of people like. I didn't even remember half the people that RD remembered who were there. Like there was a lot of people there.
Oh, also, you said party of 4 and party of 5, and Cosmic Urgency said that if I was Andy, I would think that you were giving us a clue by saying party of 5.
Yeah, exactly.
When you said it, I was like, oh, that's probably going to be misconstrued. But you don't drop, like, Easter eggs like that. You don't do that.
No, in fact, let me tell you what I did do. What I did do was I incorporated so many different things about Emily Foster from just Hollywood in general and that have nothing to do with the actual person.
To thwart people.
The only thing that's factual about Emily Foster is that Emily Foster was a big, giant TV star that everybody knows her by name. That's the only thing. No, but that's the only thing. Everything else is you can't rely on anything I said about her. You can't rely on the billboards I said I saw of her. You can't rely on any of the information about her other than that and her relationship with us. Those are the only two things that you can rely on when it comes to Emily Foster.
Delicate's making a really excellent point. She said, well, also, if somebody with Blake's privilege is getting this, that means that the average Jane doesn't stand a chance.
Correct. Well, this is I think you're making the most important part of why this is important for all of us, why this commentary is important, why I'm going to continue to shout from the rooftops about it, because she is, and I think she knows this. You know, I think that there's a certain ability to what she's doing, and I'm not trying to put her on a pedestal. I don't know the woman. I don't know much about her. But the more I get to learn this case, you start to wonder, well, why? Why is she allowing this? Well, she has nothing but privilege. First of all, she knows that she's an aging starlet, and an aging starlet in Hollywood just stops working. We're now just seeing Uma Thurman basically reprising her role written by Quentin Tarantino on a Netflix series, right? However many years later, we don't see Julia Roberts. We don't see, the Hollywood is incredibly cruel to women, like very, 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 very cruel to women in terms of the workplace, in terms of just like, what they consider a marketable actor, and Blake Lively is not, she's not considered like, she's not Meryl Streep, right? She's a starlet. And as starlets go, their stars fall out of the sky. So here she is trying to improve her station in her world by moving into the producerial roles and, the behind the scenes roles. But I think she's somebody who sees herself as in a position to be the meat shield for this. I don't think she's realized what was coming, how could you predict the world would come apart the way you do it?
I know. Everything's just turned completely upside down.
But I truly believe that she I don't believe this. I think there's just a possibility that she is somebody who wants to help people, avoid this stuff in the future. Like, you can't test those laws in California without, holding people accountable when that time comes,
I want to share some things from the chat in
TikTok,
yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying by that? Like, I was just thinking about like littering laws. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I've driven across this country and I've seen littering fines like up to $1,200, and then there's just trash everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, if there's no enforcement, there's no law.
That's right.
So what I think Blake Lively is doing is she's exercising the law. A law has been in place to protect women from people like Justin Baldoni.
She's like, let's test this shit.
And I think she saw, and I also think she saw something bigger than just what was going on the set. Because it's not just that Justin Baldoni is sitting on a set and doing this shit. It's that he's running the Man Enough podcast. It's that he's created this whole persona about literally creating a place where women are coming into it feeling safe, while he's actually completely exactly what they need to be hiding from or avoiding or exposing or whatever. Mm-hmm. Hiding, I take that back. They hide from no one. But who they need to expose, who they need to confront, actually.
You want to hear?
Yeah, keep it coming.
Okay, so on TikTok, Shanice Marie is with us. It's good to see you again.
Who?
Shanice Marie.
Hey, Shanice. Good to see you.
But I still like the irrelevant tea, Angela, because I was like, yeah, it's irrelevant. And she's like, don't stop him.
Yeah, the irrelevant tea's good, man. We got to drink that tea.
Young said a lot of the guys that have interviewed you have turned out to be really terrible.
Yeah, this is the other thing that I'm really excited about, because I'm done. Thank you for pointing this out. I don't know how to choose people to interview. Like, I'm terrible at it. I'm horrible. I've chosen the worst. And the truth is, it's not that I've chosen the worst. It's that that's who's come. Like the New York Post. You know what I did do? I'm so proud of. Right? So the New York Post came. I knew they were right slanting, and I just went with them anyway because nobody else is talking to me. And, Vanity Fair came, and that turned into the disaster that it turned into. Andy Signor, I had no idea he was pandering, right? Or that he was, in that pipeline of media.
No, the concept for hugging the cactus was an interesting one, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so too. But anyway, where I'm going and why I'm kind of proud of myself is, so as we were going through this, I got contacted by this publicist on TikTok, and she was like, I'm going to help you. And she started throwing me these influencers. She was like, contact them. Well, I looked at them and they were all these right wing, like they had a lot of followers, but they were like super right wing stuff. Like they were just like all hating on, whatever. And just stuff I don't want to deal with. So then she writes me and she offers up Candace Owens. She's like, I can book you on Candace Owens. Now that's a big opportunity for my book. Like it is. I could sell thousands and thousands of copies on a Candace Owens show if it hits. If it hits. You know what I said immediately? I said, no way am I going on that show, bro. And like, I'm literally turning down thousands of books.
That's just not a fit.
I'm like, that's not going to work for me, bro. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I said, I do not align with anything that comes out of that woman's mouth. I just don't align with anything that comes out of that mouth. I'm not going to go in there and pretend to sit across from that woman and show any kind of respect for her whatsoever. So I'm proud of myself. Like I do and have gotten in bad, but I'm improving, and that's why I started this channel. That's why I wrote the book, so I could just have my own voice, because man, I ain't getting any love and hope from all these other places. Know what I'm saying? All right, what's up?
Yeah, I gotta take a picture of this dog.
I don't know why my TikTok camera's tinted green a little. I don't have a true monitor, so
okay. Shanice on TikTok said,
yeah.
So what I'm hearing is Andy lost his job during Me Too for SA allegations, and now he's punishing women he doesn't know for it.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly what I said to him too. Literally, I said that to him. I was like, dude, you don't
have to take it out on all these.
Yeah, like what is this? You taking it out on other people? Like what's going on? I'm pretty sure that's what I said. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't assume to know what he's doing. I hope he's getting paid for it, because that would make sense. That would be an incentive that would make sense.
Yeah.
But if he's just doing it like for the love of the game, for the love of the misogyny game, that's fucked up.
Or just for like this, I mentioned this in one of my shorts and like that, one of these lives, which is that like, I don't think that Andy Signor probably hates women. I think that Andy Signor doesn't trust any woman who has an allegation come out of her mouth. And his immediate default is that she's a lying, twisted individual trying to, get the man, or trying to take advantage of the man. When I brought up his past, or when his past got brought up in terms of talking about you and shaming you, and I said, well, dude, I mean, you're the one in the video. And he started screaming at me about how that video was illegally obtained, just like Baldoni's, just like Jennifer Abel's texts, and the whole Van, what is it?
The thing is, like, I don't have an opinion about what went down with him, his allegations, and whether they were true or not. What I'm saying is his conduct now is really, really, it's just funny to me that he has placed himself so deeply in a very specific like hole that is, I do smear campaigns against women, and I'm very comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
And I make sure that I farm all of this rage against Blake Lively.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, right, what that does is it generates a bunch of criticism on him for being a person that has that attitude towards women.
Yes.
But then when that criticism comes, he's very against having to deal with any of his past allegations, or any of the allegations that maybe he might hate women or something. It's like, bro, you're asking for this. You're cultivating an environment in which people are accusing you of acting in the way that you're behaving, or like feeling the way that you're behaving.
It's hubris.
It's just like, if you don't want to talk about your scandal, then don't make such fertile ground for your scandal to be talked about.
By the way, speaking of scandal, just a quick interjection on scandal. How about that whole what is that? The Norway prince or whatever? Prince Joffrey in Norway? You know what I'm talking about. Is that Norway?
Prince's son. I don't think it's Norway. Prince's
son in, was it? I thought it was Norway.
You got to get your facts straight, Dale.
Well, But did you guys see this guy? He looks just like Joffrey, and oh my God, he's a monster.
Looks like King Joffrey?
King Joffrey from,
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. But he's a monster,
yeah,
this guy.
He's going to go to jail. For sure.
But he's like a prince.
He did bad things.
I don't know what country. One of them countries that have princes. Like America.
Okay. Shanice also said,
she's lighting it up.
She's hanging out with us. Okay.
Hey guys, by the way, if you guys are enjoying,
by the way,
before you go, can you guys like all your various social medias for us, please? I think we're under 1,000 likes over on TikTok, and I would love to at least get 1,000 likes if we can. If it's possible, it's not, whatever. But that's like my stupid little inner goal keep this thing rolling. So thank you so much for helping. And thank you for the follow. We just got a new follow from Jew Blue Jeans. I don't know if I should say that out loud.
They caught you.
J-U Blue Jeans.
Are you ready?
Norway.
Are you with me?
What did I say?
You said Norwegian.
That'd be Norway then, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Is it?
Yes, it is, Angela. My geography queen.
Yeah, I don't. Spelling bees, not geography, Dale.
Yes.
I've told you.
All right, moving on.
Okay, Shanice said he probably is. Oh, I'm assuming he probably is. Like in with Brian Friedman.
Oh.
He probably is. I noticed he had one of Brian Friedman's statements before it was released 6 hours later on TMZ.
Correct. Yeah, he's getting the beat on TMZ from them. And that just sounds.
Why would he deny it? Why wouldn't he be like, yes, I have direct access to these people. They feed me
he was
stuff.
he was kind of. He was like, you don't know what I know, Dale. Like he was just like playing
because
this.
If
like
he doesn't think it's a smear campaign, then it's totally innocent and he can't get in trouble for it.
Dude, when he was trying to...
However, if he does know it's a smear campaign...
He's got
then
troubles.
That's why he wouldn't admit that he has a direct line, or he gets statements 6 hours before everybody else. That would be if he knew that it was, what did you say, a publicity?
A PR lawsuit.
PR lawsuit.
Yeah.
She's going to win that fucking case, dude.
Oh my God. And sweep.
She's going to fucking wipe the floor.
And sweep with it. Like, I wish she could hear what I'm saying, because I'm pretty sure that that's their speak. Like, I'm pretty sure that what Andy Signor is doing is he's parroting Brian Friedman.
I wonder if that's an answer to them being like, listen, this story doesn't make sense. And they're like, don't worry about it. It's a PR lawsuit.
No, what I'm talking about is when everything went down, I think Friedman went out to them and said to all the influencers, right? Because they had all these influencers, pushing all this fucking garbage. And I'm sure that they reached out and went, guys, this was just a PR lawsuit. Giving them talking points or whatever it is. Erica's asking if princes go to jail. I hope we find out that they do, because this guy is a monster if the allegations turn out to be...
Daisy Maymom said that
correct.
That the Brian Friedman statement said, because it looked like a working document, not a sent statement, which is probably how Brian Friedman is feeding info with it being untraceable. Yeah, so
there was the, what'd you call it?
Dead drops.
Dead drops. So now there was the idea of dead drops showing up in drafted emails, email boxes. They show the login information. They log in. They go look at the drafts. There's the correspondence. Nothing was sent. Nothing discoverable. So to add to that, then they would also potentially share a Google Docs account, which is what Andy opened that document from. The interesting thing about it is that it's less of a red flag, but Andy, in all of his genius, decided that he would show everybody his desktop and show that it's a Google Docs, as opposed to actually making a little Canva doc, because he's really, really lazy. He made this shit up about who Emily Foster was in his head, because he's just all this shit, all these conclusions he jumps to, they're all conclusions he jumps to because he's too damn lazy to actually do the work and find out what's going on in the world.
He's probably not too lazy. He's probably too busy. The guy's super fucking
I think he's too lazy, but yeah, it's a guess it would be a matter of opinion, and all of that, of course, all of this is just my opinion, Dale, and I'm doing all this for entertainment purposes, Mr. Signor.
Listen, Alyssa wants justice for your previous interviewers. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm with you, Alyssa.
Okay.
She said,
what have I done wrong?
Wait, Dale, that Scientologist interview didn't seem bad.
No, he's a good guy.
Seems like a good
And guy. Andy Signor introduced me to him.
And also the Hear Me Out podcast.
Oh, which one was that? Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah, he seemed nice.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
And also the Limited Perspective one. I really liked
God damn.
that one.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was a good interview. Yeah, there were some good interviews out there.
Yeah, see?
God, I talk a lot, bro.
I know.
That's how I knew I could do this.
I know you do.
I was like, we could do these lives, Angela, because, man, I just don't shut up, people. I got the gift of gab, bro. I might as well use it.
Oh, okay, so that Norwegian prince, he's the stepson of the prince, so that's the loophole.
Oh, he's the stepson.
So he's going to go to jail.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Hey, you know what, though? How awesome. I'm so proud of those women.
That's tough.
For coming forward and making these... trying to seek justice, because how fucking intimidating is that?
Oh my God.
You know, that guy is a serial offender. Well, if allegedly, right? A serial offender probably because he was like, oh, I'm untouchable. Obviously, I'm a fucking royal. You know? So, like, how awesome.
No, it's the old Joffrey
How
thing.
brave of them to, like, come forward and be like, I don't give a fuck about your royal status. We're gonna put you where you belong.
I'm comforted by today's live. I was, going into this live, I was, I was fine. I don't give a shit about Andy. He has no effect on my life whatsoever. But I was still like, what do you call it? Shell-shocked by it all, you know? Because he was like really vicious on that call. He was really nasty, and I fought back. I mean, you taped it. I was shouting back and calling him. I held nothing back. I mean, I called him
Well, he didn't let you speak.
Yeah.
Also, so
he did eventually, but he was definitely.
I really love how supportive everybody's been in the chat. It's just really, really adorable. I especially love Delicate saying "Get behind me, Angela" after saying "Get behind me, Dale."
I love it.
And put it like a little fencing emoji, like a little guy like on guard with his
On guard, you fool! You'll not fuck with my friends.
It's just really delightful.
You guys are amazing. But yeah, it's like you guys. I don't know. You made me feel better about it. It's just good to get it out with people that I enjoy the company of. There were so many nasty things that I won't even bring up in the live that he did, and then he said accusations, not against me but others, and just gnarly stuff that were just unfounded. And he just clearly didn't have any. Like he didn't have any grip in reality in any of it. Like it was just absolutely frightening in some respects, because when I literally brought up the lawsuit with our friend, what's his name? The guy with the
Shane Norman.
When I brought up the Shane Norman lawsuit, well, it's an expression, Angela.
Yes.
Shane Norman.
He's an enemy of my enemy is my friend.
When we say our friend, we say that because we say we're friendly to him.
Yes, we are friendly to Shane Norman, wherever you are.
He didn't know who that was, and then when he twisted the whole Emily Foster thing, that got really wild. I was like, "Wow, this is what you do."
Yeah, this is what you do.
This is what you do.
You're so convinced you're right, you don't even question it, which is so damaging when you're a person who shares information for a living.
His information is unreliable. You cannot rely on what he says. By the way, when it came to my book, he did no work on it. I had to give him all the cheat sheets because he wouldn't read a chapter. And then he told me, you know what he told me? I don't read books. Maybe he should.
Well, like I'm saying, he's probably super busy.
Give him a little more perspective in life.
Okay, so I wanted to, as the final discussion.
Wait, before that, let me get the pre-final. On that note, I want to point out something that was really cool. I read a study. I don't know how empirical the study is, but I think it's peer-reviewed. And the study showed that book readers, people who read an average of 30 minutes per day, live an average of 2 to 7 years longer than people who don't. And they have a generally healthier lifestyle, and it's particularly people who read fiction.
What?
Yeah, and there was a study that I read. Damn it, I should have brought it to the live. I'm going to go see if I can find it again. But I'll actually put it up. Isn't that exciting? Dude, your mom is never going to die. She's going to be like 107 and be like, hang on, I got to get to this next chapter.
I'm going to do it again so you can edit it. The more you know. Do the little banner across the sky, you know? Like
the more you know.
Good. From a Reading Rainbow? Was that from a Reading Rainbow or one of those other like reading shows that we had as a kid?
We were kids at different eras.
Oh, that's true.
I was 12 when you were 1.
Okay, so did you use the thumbnail today about Baldoni and therapy?
Yes, I did. Let's get to the thumbnail. Oh shit, it's at the end of the live.
So this is the last thing I wanted to talk with you.
This is great.
I did not find this. I'm just sharing with you what Reddit user Asleep Reputation 85 said. It's just really brilliant. Should I just read this whole thing? There's links too. So
just read it.
Go find it on the Baldoni Files subreddit.
We can put the link in the description if you guys want to check the description later.
Oh yeah, that's smart. Baldoni's connection to the exploitative troubled teens camps. Did you know about this? That there's this whole industry of people who set up these like basically care facilities, and they'll sell like, it's basically like a camp that they go and they kidnap your kid with your permission because they're bad kids, and then they go to these like re-education camps basically where it's like kind of torturous.
The only thing I ever
teach them to respect adults or whatever by force.
The only thing I ever saw that was close to it, which was that movie that I described about James Woods, where he kidnapped the kid to break him from a cult. Is these parents?
Yeah, but it's the opposite. It's like they get put into a cult by their parents.
No, I understand, but
so that
that's the closest you asked.
They're like teenagers who just want to experience independence, and their parents are like, "You're unruly, and we're going to send you away and put you in a prison."
To answer your question, I've heard bits about it, but I don't have like an in-depth knowledge to it.
The more you know about these sorts of places, the more you just cannot believe that parents ever sign up for this because they have no idea what the condition of their kids are when they go into them. And there's a bunch of people who have told their stories, survivors of these places, about the horrific abuse they endure.
Yeah.
Okay. This user, A Sleep Reputation 85, was writing on Baldoni Files. This is something that was briefly discussed on this months ago, but I think it deserves a full post and renewed attention. Brad Reedy, who was Justin Baldoni's personal therapist around 2020, is the founder of Evoke Therapy Programs and formerly involved with Second Nature, which is a company in Utah. These programs have been named multiple times in survivor testimonies connected to the so-called troubled teens industry. Brad Reedy is specifically listed in the troubled teens sub-wiki, which includes concerning first-hand accounts from survivors who attended Evoke. There's a link. Despite the disturbing allegations connected to Reedy's program, Justin Baldoni, known for exploiting emotionally vulnerable stories for brand building, apparently saw this as an opportunity. He wanted to create a documentary centered around Brad Reedy's program, even as the troubled teen industry community raised red flags about its practices. Heather Hayes, who works closely with Jed Wallace, also has known ties to the troubled teen industry. Hayes has long been involved in intervention and transport services linked to these controversial programs. So intervention and transport services is basically the thugs that get sent to the teen's home to kidnap them with their parents' approval, to take them away and transport them to these prison facilities. It's insane. Months ago, someone on the Troubled Teen sub made a post about being brigaded and heavily downvoted after mentioning her name, Heather Hayes' name. Sound familiar? The pattern of silencing or flooding criticism around certain figures is something we've seen here before. For someone who claims to champion emotional healing and social good, it's very telling that Justin Baldoni chose to platform and profit from a program linked to such serious allegations. It speaks volumes about his judgment and his true intentions. This entire team is trash.
I mean, it's just and everything tracks, right? Because he was exploiting the cerebral palsy fella, and just that whole thing. It was just all about the exploitation. He did that documentary that got extremely good reviews, and that was like, I guess, on people with terminal illnesses.
Yeah.
And so he exploited terminal illnesses and their sadness and so on and so forth. I mean, the guy just doesn't like seem to do anything other than, rather kind of repulsive stuff, frankly.
And so this is from Justin Baldoni's own. I think this is a Facebook post. Anyway, this is from 2016, where he talks about this guy and how much he admires him. But I just wanted to read this because it's just like, it's so amazing the way that Justin Baldoni writes. Like, I cannot relate to these people.
Yeah. So go ahead. This is the therapy thing.
Yeah. Throwback Thursday. Whatever. Hashtag TBT. To the most honest photo my family has ever taken. It's just a group photo of them. Last weekend, I took my family to Park City for a 3-day intensive therapy retreat. Yep, I said it. Therapy. My dear friend Brad Reedy at Evoke Therapy created the most incredible and safe environment for us to go deep into a literal and metaphorical forest to find all the wounds from our collective childhood. To laugh, cry, get angry, and connect in a way we've never connected. To find compassion, understanding, and most importantly... the ability to sit with each other in truly authentic way and be seen. So why am I sharing a photo of us exhausted, cried out, and vulnerable? Why share our imperfections and admit we go to therapy? Why debunk the myth of perfection and show you guys our truth? Why the hell not? What good does the illusion of perfection do for anyone? He's constantly wrapped up in perfection and imperfection. The guy is like obsessed with this concept.
He's also quite sure people think he's perfect.
Yes, he's constantly like, I know what you think. I'm perfect.
I know. When you look at me, the first thing that happens is you're like, oh my God, you're perfect. But the truth is, inside, I'm not perfect. I know on the outside.
Oh my God. He literally says this.
I'm perfect, but inside I'm tortured.
The real truth is, I have an incredible family. We have an amazing amount of love for each other, but we are far from perfect.
No, not him. And not him and his family.
It's very easy to use social media to show the best version of ourselves. We all choose pics and videos, whatever it goes on. But I just think that it's... so there he is. He took his whole family to this guy, Brad Reedy, to his therapy program in the woods and cried it out. And it's like, there's just so many of these people. There was that, what was the name of that woman in Utah who was really exploiting and like, exploiting her therapy program and like breaking up a bunch of marriages in the Mormon community?
Oh, wait, wasn't that that was that influencer?
Yes.
That she ended up having that really questionable relationship with.
Yeah, well, she ended up being involved.
They ended up in jail. They're in jail.
Yeah,
They're in jail.
She ended up being involved in serious child abuse. Where the children almost passed away because as a result of their horrific
thin,
abuse.
frail, broken. The guy
like
that was the most interesting thing because the kid escaped the house, got out, went to the neighbors. When the neighbors called the police, he was sitting there like describing to the police, the neighbor, the condition of the child, and as he was describing the condition of the child, he started to break down and cry.
Yeah, horrific.
It was
so what I'm
horrific.
saying is like there's this really horrible Venn diagram where these people are doing these like extreme cathartic therapy type programs, and then the other circle of the Venn diagram is like this horrific abuse that's like just under the surface where people have to like have support programs and join together with other survivors and stuff and
trauma support
exactly and tell the story about what happened to them.
Yeah,
it's like all of these like psychotherapists and stuff. Well, I just think it's really weird for somebody like Justin Baldoni, who's obviously got access and the ability to shop around and find whoever, that he's not vetting people. Like, is Brad Reedy like mind controlling him like he does to all of these troubled teens that have these horrific allegations of abuse? You know what I mean?
Look, it's all, who knows?
Really weird.
Judy Hildebrandt. Yes, Judy Hildebrandt.
Wow.
Exactly. Alyssa.
You guys know everything.
You guys are the best. we watch everything. We just don't know shit. I just can't remember everything.
I'm bad at names and geography.
Crazy story.
But I'm good at spelling.
Here's what I love about what we're doing and why I think we should be doing it, why it's important to be doing it. We are, Andy Signor is a good example of how everything is detached from reality around us, or how easily it is for people to become detached. Like, I don't care if we ever have more than 8 people in our YouTube live or 10 people in our, I would rather have extremely low numbers in these and do these things based on truth, based on reality, not based on trying to bottom feed, than to try and than to sell our souls into some kind of ecosystem that's supposed to pay us on thriving off of people's misfortunes, or by twisting and braiding in complete unrealistic, fallacies, direct fallacies into people's stories, narratives, and important situations. So I just think we're important in this fight to be somewhat normal, to give us some kind of normalcy, to create a space where the normal people can show up and be together and not have to worry about because I'm never going anywhere when it comes to, people slipping into these patterns and cults, frankly.
I just really appreciate having really nice people in our comment section that want to talk to us about our weird little interests.
Yeah, we're really lucky.
Like how Justin Baldoni is off his fucking ass and he's conducting a smear campaign instead of just taking accountability.
I guess I'm saying that because
do they not cover taking accountability in therapy? I don't understand.
Yeah,
he's completely ruined his life instead of just saying my bad.
It's 2025. I don't know. He wasn't really around in the 90s, but therapy was fucking trendy in the 90s, bro. Yep. It got so trendy that that one of the best shows in television was based on a therapeutic breakthrough when a mob boss went and got therapy, right?
Oh, The Sopranos?
The Sopranos was the whole breakthrough. It was so trendy. Therapy was such a trendy thing back then that it became a part of, and it was also a part of Goodfellas, if you remember, of course. Oh, no. I'm confusing that because that's Lorraine Bracco.
Oh, because she was in both.
Yes. So anyway, I'm not saying we're important. I'm saying having a forum where we can express ourselves in ways, or where we're protecting at least some semblance of common sense and reality, because that's not, because what we're dealing with most of the time, what we're getting fed with is sensationalism, or people using things like taking things out of context. Blake Lively's Forbes interview is a great example, and then using that to skewer humans and treat them poorly. So.
My favorite thing about that one is that everybody's like, look, she admitted it, that she lies about what she wants to do in films. And I was like, fucking Justin Baldoni's not even making that claim. In his own documents, he says the exact opposite. So it's like, what are you guys fucking on?
What makes me crazy about it, and I'll never stop repeating this, is that if that was a dude saying that he did that, he would be rewarded for it. He would be called ambitious. He'd be called, all these things, because I am that dude.
Because Taylor Swift wrote a song about it.
Exactly. I wrote up in Don's Plum as the writer, and David Stutman was like, he considered me a PA, a production assistant. And then I ended up, producer of the movie and the lead writer of the movie, and I worked my way up through the movie because. Like any other profession, you have the opportunity for advancement, and you can be passionate, and you can want to move up the ladder, even on these. Again, I've talked often about how like Hollywood is kind of like the circus culture, because you're just moving from one gig to the next. Mm-hmm. But as you do, you're still getting that experience that moves you up the ladder. So that Blake Lively was doing that, and it didn't work for her. And the reason it didn't work for her wasn't because what she was doing was wrong. Is the point I'm trying to make. It didn't work for her because she was a woman doing it. If it was a dude doing it, there would not have been a word said about it. It happens all the time in every kind of organization, including Hollywood. Put a woman in those shoes, though, and she's overambitious, bro. She's up to no good. Why don't you do what we hired you for, Angela? Okay, what we hired you for is to, okay? You guys are the absolute greatest human beings. Thank you for sharing your evenings with us. We do appreciate it so much, but we also hope that we're at least somewhat entertaining. I suppose that's why you're here. But we're here because you guys are also entertaining and informative and contribute so much.
Yep.
So thank you so much, and we will see you tomorrow night. We will be back at 7 p.m. Nighty-night, Angela.
Good night.
Good night, TikTok. And now, begin again tomorrow. Good night.